Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing today? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is Hollywood After Dark. It is the 28th of October, 2019, and some stuff went down today. I am surprised at how crazy some stuff went down. Like really, it's wild. That people are. I was out and about, and I got the news about Star Wars, about Benioff and Weiss, and all the shit that went down with that, and it's just crazy stuff. So I'm gonna post this real quick on hold on, my Discord. Okay, actually edit that message so I can send it elsewhere. All right. Oops. Cool, got that up, and let us post it to Twitter. Okay. So there's a, god damn it, come on, come out. Twitter, I hate Twitter. Oh my god. Okay, there we go. Cool. So give it a few minutes. We got, wow, 14 people watching already. Holy shit. Okay. Let me just. All right. So Lunith is waiting. Thank you. Wonder Duck is first like and waiting. Appreciate that. Lunith now says he's the first like. There's enough likes to go around. Everyone should be liking this. It's going to be an interesting thing. Okay. So, let's see. They wanted to this time to announce that they avoid negative headlines before trailer launches. What trailer? Like, no, I mean, I'm like legitimately curious. Like, what the? Oh, before the trailer, I get it for like a week ago. Um, maybe not. It's there's something that came up this weekend. There's something that came up this weekend. So let's see. Okay. Yeah. I think they kind of, if you want my honest opinion, I think they kind of shot themselves in the foot. To be honest, I think they shot themselves in the foot a bit. So let me put together some tabs real quick while we take a look here. Okay. Shidoko says, so crazy night, 100%. Cost of rushing Game of Thrones season 8. Not at all. They didn't actually rush Game of Thrones season 8. They had said multiple times that they had a definitive ending in sight. The problem though, and I've said this multiple times and I stand by it, is really George R. R. Martin. Because Martin he hasn't published a book in 8 years. The two final books needed to be published. He gave them like an outline of what he was going to do, and they ran with it to the best of their ability. I think they did the best that they could given the circumstances. So, Rise of Skywalker, I think you mean, not Mandalorian. The Mandalorian trailer dropping today, and then like an hour or two later, the other stuff dropping is crazy. Let's see. Sign of Humanity says no. Hey man, a lot going on here. Yeah, I agree with you. I'm kind of bummed out too. So does this prove that Rian Johnson's trilogy is in danger, or will they push for that instead? I don't know. I think they're going to push for it, to be honest with you. Thoughts on bounding into comics? They're kind of like cosmic book news. Like I would look at them as being a bit more. I mean, look, cosmic book news, bounding into comics, oneangrygamer.net. Those guys are all right wing, and if you read One Angry Gamer, it's like far right wing. But they play to a certain audience, whether you like it or not. I read them occasionally if I can. Okay, let's see here. You wonder if Lucasfilm will cancel the planned trilogy with them, or hire new directors. I don't know. I mean, I think it's both. To be fair. Um. Okay. All right. I'm just trying to find, because I know that they were at the panel. Let's see here. Let's see, Austin Film Festival. Because I just remembered they were at a panel the other day, and it was kind of like indignant, right? Like, here's one, which we'll take a look at when we get going here. So, Well, let's see. I don't know. I read some stuff. All right. I wonder if we can find a better idea here. Okay. Because we have a one girl. I'm trying to find some. God damn it. I'm trying to find some information we can read. Okay. I'm just trying to find some specific quotes here because they had a panel 2 days ago at the Austin Film Festival, and apparently they were kind of dickish, apparently, right? Like I think, yeah, well, okay, uh, you know, okay, okay, we'll have to take a look at this a little bit when it comes up. I'm just gonna compile some more things here. I want to get some stuff. So, oh god damn it. Okay, where are we at here? Okay. Thoughts on Netflix trying to make a Zelda movie? Is there anything confirmed? I know, wrong camera. I'm looking at that camera and not that camera. Is there anything confirmed on that one yet? There's rumors that Brie Larson may be joining the S. Nah, I mean, look, she's a Star Wars fan, so she's been playing with lightsabers, and everyone's like, "What does it mean? Oh my God, what does it mean? What does it mean if Brie Larson plays with a lightsaber?" They freak out at every little thing. Brie Larson stubs her toe. Not even. That's all right. If they stub their toe in the middle of the night, they just silently whisper, "Brie Larson did it," because I'm right. They're insane people. Let's see here. Robert Meyer Burnett went on Geeks and Gamers. You think Campia will ever do the same and talk with Jeremy? God, no. Considering how much Jeremy talks shit about John Campia, I'm surprised that I didn't get back to Campia and Campia didn't cockslap Meyer Burnett. Let's see. Which other filmmaker would like to see tackle Star Wars? Quentin Tarantino. No, I'm kidding. Actually, I would like to see him tackle. I think Star Trek is better, more up his speed, but he's been doing fantasy stuff recently. So maybe perhaps Star Wars could be better than Star Trek. Just, you know? Let's see here. Failure of Game of Thrones and Gemini Man, written by wasn't yeah. No, it wasn't DB. It was David Benioff, I believe, right? It was David Benioff. Hold on, let me take a look here. David Benioff. Yeah. Okay. Good. You guys are helping me think of some think of some argument points. Right? You're making me think of some argument points. Because then I can use some of this shit. Okay. All right. Wow, interesting. 18 hours ago, Cheat Sheet ran an article talking about Rian Johnson's Star Wars trilogy. What are they saying? An update. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Anyway. All right. Let me go ahead and find that Variety article. I was sent that earlier. Cool. I'm just trying to find. Well, I'll look at the IGN article. I just want to hide. Where do I hide that? There we go. Okay. And I'm just kind of getting some stuff prepped up here so we can have ourselves a good old time. Okay. Sorry. I know. I'm all over the place here. I'm all over the damn place, but it's okay. It's all good. It is all good. All right. Who is to blame? Is it incompetence? Will this affect the next Star Wars movie's release date? No, it won't affect the release date. We're still too far out for that. I mean, we're still over 2 years away, 3 years away. It's not going to affect the release date. So, did I know that David Benioff wrote X-Men Origins Wolverine? Yeah, he did. He did. He really, really did. Okay. I mean, there's a couple different elements to this. We're going to go through a couple different articles. I just wanted to prep my stuff, and I forgot that I said I was going to go live at 10:30. So, let's see here. Just want to make sure. Do I sound okay? Just want to make sure I sound good. Let me just double check my settings. Okay. Good on that one. All right. Hey, what's up, Tony? Let's see. Do I think episode 9 will do at the box office. Do I think episode 9 will do at the box office? What do I think Disney wants the film to do worldwide total? Well, it clearly wants it to make as much money as humanly possible. They want it to make more money than The Force Awakens. Clearly, it will make more money than than The Last Jedi, 100%. Like, that's not even a question. It will make more money than that. Okay, audio's good. I sound hot. Thank you. I mean, well, you know, when it comes to audio, that can mean a couple different things. But I know you're talking about my looks because you worship me. I ain't kidding either. He's already called me like 8 times today. Am I going to be watching Gargoyles on Disney Plus day one? I'll be watching a lot on Disney Plus day one. Definitely The Mandalorian, because oh my god, that trailer was, you know, you just kind of want to go spread it apart. You know what I mean? Now you have that image in your head. Okay. We lost like 3 viewers. Okay, let me bring this up over on another screen. I'm going to bring this up over on another screen. So I have that ready to go. Cool. Am I concerned? Where's that at? Oh, there we go. Am I concerned that Weiss and Benioff's departure opens the door for the trilogy? I will talk about that, but yes, I am. I am very concerned. Would I ever try InfoWars supplements? No. I mean, I have no issue with soy, but I don't need it in supplement form. Okay. Oh, you bought the Disney Plus 3-year discount membership? Yeah. I didn't get that, but 'cause I'm not a D Plus member, but good for you, man. Hope you get it. Okay. So weird having it on the other screen here, because I have to like look over and careen my neck. But let us talk about the elephant in the room here. I want to double check that I've got everything that I need. Okay, we got the article here. I got another article. That one. I think we can make a pretty fair argument, because this is going to be clipped out and uploaded to the channel separately when it's done. So let's talk about it. Okay, we're gonna clap like we're waiting for Tinkerbell. That way I can mark it in the audio. Snaps for traps if you happen to be a longtime viewer of the other channel. So, what a night it has been. What an absolute crazy whirlwind night it has been. Today, we've seen a whole bunch of odd Star Wars news, right? First, you had the rumor coming out that Kylo Ren is going to be possibly getting his own Disney Plus prequel series. Then you find out that Lawrence Kasdan looks at Lucasfilm and went like, you guys up Solo, it's not me, it's you, man. But he calls out Solo and says that Solo was not his fault specifically, and that the studio blew, which I think a lot of people out there are very much in agreement with. They very much believe that Solo bombed and it was Kathleen Kennedy's fault, hence why so many people wanted her fired after all that went down. But here it is, a year and a half after that, and again, the craziest news just broke here, because the Benioff and Weiss Star Wars trilogy is not moving forward. This just happened a little bit ago, and this is wild stuff, because it was over a year ago that Benioff and Weiss were announced as taking over Star Wars, as working on a new... It wasn't even originally said as a trilogy. It was said as a series of films. I estimated at least 5 movies setting up a massive arc. You even heard certain things, like there were rumors that they were talking about the Old Republic, which made old school BioWare KOTOR fans like me pop our nipples up and just go, I'm sorry, what now? What? We're going to... KOTOR? Revan? What? Is basically how a lot of us felt. Then, of course, Game of Thrones Season 8 came out, and while I enjoyed it immensely and feel satisfied with the ending, a lot of you out there didn't, and that is okay. But many people questioned whether or not this was going to have any significant impact on these guys were going forward at Star Wars, and apparently it had none right off the bat. So let's find out more. So Game of Thrones showrunners D.B. Weiss and David Benioff are no longer working on the new Star Wars trilogy, according to Deadline. They cited their historic deal with Netflix and explained that their enthusiasm for Star Wars remains boundless, but regrettably, their schedule is full up. And the thing is, their deal with Netflix here is actually really massive. So their deal with Netflix is the deal is valued at $200 million. That's right. Let's all Dr. Evil it, right? 200 million. And this is for a 5-year deal at Netflix. And this is coming off of WB dropping 500 million for 5 years for JJ Abrams to go over there. So these companies, right, especially with WB doing the HBO Max, right, their whole thing, their streaming platform, and Netflix wanting these guys, there's a lot of money at play. And I don't think Lucasfilm really could come in and really deal with that. I don't think they could. I think that they really just Netflix outbid the House of Mouse, and that is significant. They said here, we love Star Wars. When George Lucas built it, he built us too. Getting to talk about Star Wars with him and the current Star Wars team was the thrill of a lifetime. We will always be indebted to the saga that changed everything. There are only so many hours in the day, and we felt that we could not do justice to both Star Wars and our Netflix projects, so we are regrettably stepping away. Like I said, $200 million from Netflix. Do you really think that Disney was going to pay out $200 million? No. So they took the better deal, and it's possible that the popularity off of them signing for Star Wars, as well as the hype leading up to Game of Thrones, is what prompted them to have Netflix pay out that kind of cash. And here's the biggest thing. Make no mistake, Netflix and Disney are in competition with one another. By the time that Netflix paid out the 200 million or offered up the 200 million for this deal, they've already known that Dan and Dave were going to be working for Lucasfilm, and i.e. Bob Iger. So they kind of poached them, in my opinion, by offering them a much more splendid deal. But Kathleen Kennedy chose to say optimistic in her statement, leaving room for Benioff and Weiss to come back, which they will one day. She says here that Benioff and Weiss are incredible storytellers. We hope to include them in a journey forward when they are able to step away from their busy schedule to focus on Star Wars. And that's a solid thing, right? That's now here's the thing is when Kathleen Kennedy, when they finally get around to being done with Netflix, Kathleen Kennedy ain't going to be there. I think we all can agree with that, right? But there might be a couple other things that maybe popped up a little bit. Just recently, we see here that Joker scores in October 2nd. This is from a couple weeks ago, from the week after Joker, where Joker scored another record-breaking opening weekend, and Gemini Man bombed. Now, Gemini Man was a movie that people thought was going to do quite well. You have Ang Lee directing Will Smith fighting himself. You figured it would have been something that would have been massive and spectacular and fantastic, and it would have been mind-bending in the 120 frames per second. The high frame rate. Because, gamers love 60 FPS. Doesn't really translate well, and most theaters couldn't even support it. But the reason why that's important here is that David Benioff wrote Gemini Man, and the plot from what I read about some of the scripting was maybe necessarily not the best. Now you got to remember that Benioff also wrote X-Men Origins Wolverine. So when it comes to writing scripts, he doesn't necessarily have the greatest track record. However, working on something like Game of Thrones would have given them a lot of just in the field experience to craft great stories, considering that up until season 8 of Game of Thrones, they were considered amazing for their writing. But they actually admit, and this just happened the other day, Game of Thrones creators chose a weird time to confirm they had no idea what they're doing. And they did. They were at a fan panel over the weekend, and he says, everything we could make a mistake in, we did. But that's just, in essence, that's how filmmaking goes. Everything you can make a mistake in, you make. You learn as you go. That's just kind of how the game is played. But these guys admit that they didn't even have a lot of experience before HBO bought the deal. And in fact, this woman here, Needle and Pen, or for Arya, live tweeted the event. We can see here she is at the Austin Film Festival. Here's the Dan and Dave right there, and they're talking about everything, And so she's talking. So she says here that someone. Oh, she says here. Dan is saying that writers and source material end up in divorce, and that the divorce is amicable since they ran out of material, therefore kind of talking about what happened with Game of Thrones. They're talking about their pitch and how nervous they were. They pitched it to Carolyn Strauss, who had a reputation of being a tough pitch. They were nervous because of how bad they wanted to do Game of Thrones. But David is describing the pre-meeting with George, who was questioning their bona fides, and we really didn't have any. We'd never done TV, and we didn't have any. We don't know why he trusted us with his life's work. He did, but they're basically saying here that they didn't have any experience going into Game of Thrones. And there was a couple things here, even talking about like the dismal pilot, which everything we could do, we could make a mistake, and we did, because remember, they shot the pilot. The pilot was pretty terrible. But he says here that Game of Thrones was basically an expensive film school for Dave. For example, they had no idea how to work with costume designers. It was a huge learning experience. So a lot of what they're talking about here is that they learned on the go. And whatever they feel they learned off of Game of Thrones, clearly Netflix has opted to pay for. That's what I'm trying to get through here, is that clearly Netflix has opted to pay for this, but it may not have actually been a really good fit for Star Wars. But then again, Kathleen Kennedy allowed Rian Johnson to kind of run rampant with The Last Jedi, so anything is possible. Speaking of that, is Rian Johnson's trilogy still happening? Because at this point, none of the other information matters. Dan and Dave they still have $200 million. They're still very happy. But the question then becomes, what's going to happen with Rian Johnson's trilogy? What's going to happen with that? Is he still going to make it? Is it going to happen now? If I had to guess, if I had to bet, if I had to, I would say yes. Let me explain. I don't want it. You don't want it, clearly. But what we have here is a situation where he was announced 2 years ago that he was going to be getting a trilogy of films. People have been asking him about it almost nonstop, every interview for 2 years, whether or not he's going to be doing this trilogy. He couldn't confirm it a couple weeks ago. He didn't know what was happening. Disney was still figuring it out, leading many of us to believe that it was done, that it was dead, that it was over, that we were free from Johnson's wrath on Star Wars. But then this happens. And now they have to scramble. They have 3 years to get a movie done. That's a long time, and they could easily do it. But Disney is not a small studio. They are a massive, massive, massive conglomerate. In every single country in this world, they have some kind of foothold, and everything operates within itself. And they cross-promote constantly within itself. So they need something to work. And if Johnson's been working on this trilogy for 2 years, then that beady-eyed little bastard is probably going to already have scripts done. Now, we know that Knives Out is what he's working on now, and that's going to be coming out here pretty soon. And the success off of that, which the reviews from critics have been very high. Even Andy Signor, who's a friend of mine, saw it, I guess, the other day, and he's kind of speaking relatively highly of it, from what I could gather. That movie, if it's successful, could then prompt Kathleen Kennedy to ring up old Ryan and give him the keys to the kingdom to ruin something once again. I don't want it. You certainly don't want it. And I don't know. I think that it's entirely possible that Rian Johnson could get another trilogy. God, I don't want that. Just thinking about it, it's like, no. More Admiral Hodo. More Rose Tico. A Rose Tico trilogy. No, Rose. No, Rose. No. But that's where we are. Or they could do the right thing. They could seize the opportunity to do the right thing, which would be to just immediately turn over and go, hey, yo, Dave, what's going on with that hat? You still want to wear that director's hat? How'd you like directing a couple episodes of The Mandalorian? How'd you enjoy that, buddy? Did you like working in the live space? The audience seemed to like it because he directed the pilot. I think that in episode 5. They could finally give Filoni the chance to work in the live action space. Clone Wars is wrapping up in February with season 7 or season 6, I forget. Star Wars Resistance, which was his show, and he was pulled off of that to go work on Clone Wars. That's wrapping up at the end of this year. They're done. There's no more animated stuff on the horizon that I can think of right now. He's currently balls deep in season 2 of The Mandalorian. Why not tap him? Tap him. Finally tap him. Finally knight Filoni. Walk in there with the lightsaber. Won't rise, Sir Filoni, Jedi Master, or whatever the hell you want to say. But anoint Filoni. Put him in charge of it. Give him a trilogy. See what he comes up with. Because I guarantee you it'd be something related to Thrawn or in the EU or something. Something. That's what they need to do now. No Rian Johnson. The fans won't take it. I get called a shill constantly. I've been really supportive of Star Wars like this fall. You bring Rian Johnson back and you'll lose me. I don't want to take down that Millennium Falcon rug because I love that thing. Or my wooden wall art from a couple years ago that I like too. But you will lose me as a fan if you put in Rian Johnson. 100%. Because that's not where fans want. That's not what's going to be popular. But this could also be Kevin Feige's time to step up too. Because we already know he was working on something. He could be 2022. That could be the other side of it. But just imagine Filoni. I just want Filoni, man. I want someone who Feige is a diehard fan, but I want someone like Filoni in there. I think him behind the director's camera, writing the script, directing the movie would give us the purest example of post Lucas Star Wars would come from him. And then to have him lead the story group, take over creative duties for Star Wars, and just guide it to greener pastures. I may be putting too much on the dude, but I know so many of you watching this right now absolutely fundamentally want that. And we might actually be given the opportunity to experience it, which makes me as a Star Wars fan extremely happy. So at the end of the day, to wrap this whole little segment up, yeah, maybe it's a good thing Dan and Dave got let go or they decided to quit, because we could get something 100 million times better. And that's great. And I'll take it. Okay. Let's see. All right. Let me give Filoni a trilogy. Goddamn right, man. Goddamn right. Give Filoni a fucking trilogy. Hold on. Let me move this back over so I can see. There we go. There we go. All right. Any truth to Brie Larson playing Ahsoka? I don't think so. I don't know for certain, but I don't think so. I really, really, really don't think so. I think that Ahsoka Tano, I don't know, man. I mean, that's his creation, right? Like, he'd have to pick the right person. He'd have to really, really, really pick the right person. So I think there's that. I think we're good on that front. I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, like I said, I could be wrong. I could be entirely wrong, but I don't think that I am. Let's see here. If not Filoni, why not Favreau? Favreau would be good, but Favreau, he's a creative. He's a creative, and who knows if that's what he wants to keep working on. Could Spielberg direct a Star Wars movie already? That'd be great. I'd love to see that. That'd be fantastic. Star Wars is so easy to make. It's just that Disney cannot handle intelligent villains. Well, it's not just that. I mean, Star Wars is like, you have to mix the right amount of fantasy with the right amount of religion and the right amount of, like, you know, you have to know what your references are. Like, Lucas referenced a lot off of like Kurosawa films, and he based a lot of like a, you know, kind of like Ronin culture sort of thing. And then there's also the whole hero's journey and how he was influenced by not only World War II, but Lord of the Rings. I mean, there's a lot of influences that go into Star Wars. So it's not as easy to write as you might think. Rosario Dawson should be Ashoka. I mean, I'm not against it, but like Rosario Dawson's kind of old, right? And that's not a bad thing. I don't want to sit there and try to say that like it's a bad thing or nothing like that, because I love Rosario Dawson. So there's definitely. All right, cool. I was just checking to see if I missed any super chats. I did not, so we are good on that one. Okay. Lucasfilm under Kennedy has lost Lord Miller, Josh Trank, Colin Trevorrow, etc. It's true. But do you really feel bad though about losing Josh Trank? Just saying. I mean, like, I mean, Chronicle was great, but Fantastic Four was pretty bad. Anthony here says this thought about Ryan Johnson coming back just gave me a headache. Me too. Did I watch the George Lucas deepfake? Oh yeah, dude. We watched it on here a couple nights ago. It was great. I've watched the thing like at least 5 or 6 times. It's fantastic. It's really, really, really funny. I just love that line. Oh, look, there's my name. Another check for daddy. Let's see here. Have I seen Stephen Walton's book there's a book? Can you send me a link to that on Twitter, RT? I'll check it out on here. I never heard of it. I didn't know there was a book. So Fox screwed over Trank with F4. Yeah, they did, but like, I mean, he also, I don't think he can't put it all on the studio. I mean, there's still a lot there that he's responsible for. So there's definitely that. Don't know if Ashoka could be played by anyone else, seeing as she originated with Ashley Eckstein. Yeah, but Ashley, I mean, like, they just have like the stature in common. They're both the stature, So there's not a lot there necessarily. So okay. So I didn't love TLJ, but I like to see Ryan Johnson redeem himself. Just give him a co-writer. Okay, brilliant but lazy. All right. Okay, let's entertain that for a notion. Let's kind of entertain that for a second here. Because I see what you're saying, and I will be fair. I support your optimism. I do. I really do. I'm an optimistic person. Here it is after The Last Jedi, and I still gladly have Star Wars shit on my wall. So there's that. But here's the thing. It's not just a co-writer. He also personally went after the fans. So instead of saying like, I'm sorry you didn't like the movie, I was trying to do this whole thing and whatever, he became real indignant. He started like really attacking the fan base, really criticizing them and whatnot. Now there were a lot of very vocal, mean-spirited people, and I think after a while that does kind of get under your skin. But at the same time, like, you just focus on something else. You go play a video game, you crank one out or something, you move on to something else for a bit. But like, he really wanted to like fire back at it. And I think the fact that The Last Jedi only did 1.3 billion worldwide actually really actually injured the fan base as a whole. Like, or I should say injured the structure or like the structural integrity of the franchise as a whole. So him coming back, I mean, if he's doing all new characters and everything, then maybe, but it's like at the same time, I want him to work underneath like, I want him to direct something, like if it's like the start of a franchise, like the start of a series, like if Kevin Feige hired Ryan Johnson to direct the Marvel movie, I'd be okay with that because Ryan Johnson is a good director. He's just not a very good storyteller. And what he did really well on Breaking Bad, he was underneath Vince Gilligan, who's an excellent storyteller, who let him direct it, but they still hit the beats that were written and they were able to cut together the episode really well, and it worked out. If he's got a solid, like if he's got someone behind the scenes that's kind of like, he's kind of got to be like Vader to like, someone else has got to be Palpatine. If I'm going to put that in like a better analogy, right? Because that's a lot of what it boils down to. Let's see here. All right. So exactly. RJ is too hoity-toity, basically, to deserve the chance to come back in any capacity. All he does is divide fans. I think for him to come back, he'd have to sit there and say, he'd have to pull an I'm sorry. Like, he'd have to do like a standard YouTube apology video like that. Hi, guys. I'm sorry for The Last Jedi. I didn't make the movie that you guys wanted me to make, and instead I killed Admiral Akbar for no good reason, and I introduced Admiral Holdo because she reminds me of my mom, who scalded my penis in boiling hot water, and all the other shit. And no, he's got to work for somebody else. Let's see. Hughes is Stranger Things director of the Duffer Brothers. Well, the Duffer Brothers did okay, but really Sean Levy directs all of those episodes. But the Duffer Brothers would be good to plot an overall. I think they'd be good to plot an overall arc, and I guarantee they probably will once their contract is done with Netflix. Someone's going to come and buy them up. I think Feige is the one who will ultimately get the keys to the kingdom and get the trilogy, not Johnson or Filoni. Yeah, but I mean, like, if it's kind of like here's how it's, okay. It's like this, right? It's like, you know, Feige's got all of Fox at this point, right? He's got all of Fox. So he's got that going for him. And then he's also got all the Fox properties. And when it comes to Deadpool, he still wants to work with Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick and Ryan Reynolds. He wants to make sure that that relationship is good. You know, they're working with them instead of just cutting them off and restarting it, or getting rid of the writers, bringing in new writers, but keeping Ryan Reynolds. They're keeping the structural integrity of the brand together. And he gets that as a producer. He understands that. And I think you can't have Star Wars in modern days without having Filoni. Yeah, Cam, it's crazy. We just did, I think, like a 17-minute video on it. Okay, well, I can't. Well, let me see here. Can you gotta, yeah, you gotta DM that to me, because or hit me up on Twitter with that link, because I can't click on the link from my screen. But I really like. I really think we're in a position where they could do this total shift, this total insane shift, and really just like, you know, give us something the fans really like. You know, it's kind of like who's a good, like, okay, kind of like Denis Villeneuve, the guy who did Blade Runner 2049. His next movie is Dune. Right. Like, I love that guy as a director. I cannot pronounce his last name to save my goddamn life, but I love him as a director. So when I get to see, so when he's going to do a director, like, you know, when he came on for Dune, I was hype, because I'm like, oh, dude, this guy gets it. He likes slow paced, you know, sci-fi, and he knows how to tell it really well. Kind of like when they said that when they were going to do RoboCop Returns, and it was going to be a sequel to RoboCop, I think 2. Or no, I think it was a sequel to RoboCop 1, forgetting number 2, which is stupid. Don't forget number 2. Number 2 was great. But it was Neil Blomkamp was going to do it. I was like, dude, that's a good call, because Neil Blomkamp feels like a lot of like a modern Paul Verhoeven, right? So you want someone with a very similar aesthetic in order to ease us back in. Like RoboCop 2014 with Joel Kinnaman was kind of more of an, I don't want to say action comedy. There's a lot more comedy in it that was direct, and not because of like the way that Paul Verhoeven handles satire. Right. But as much as I enjoyed the 2014 RoboCop, which I'm surprised that I actually really enjoyed the 2014 RoboCop. And then again, Joel Kinnaman is, you know, I love that dude. So I'll watch anything that he's in. But the point I'm trying to say here is, like, they need someone like Blomkamp who can mimic Verhoeven's style. You know, if you were going to hear, okay, if you were going to hear that they're going to do like Indiana Jones 6, okay, new Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford's retired, God forbid pass away, or Steven Spielberg passes away or something, and then Lucasfilm was like, we're going to do another Indiana Jones. Who would you want to direct that? Right? Who do you think could handle Spielberg's style enough to do it? And the truth of the matter is, it would be J.J. Abrams. It would be J.J. Abrams would be able to, I think, mimic Spielberg's style enough in order to ease fans back in, because that's something that he's good at. He's good at making crowd-pleasing things. But do I think that J.J. Abrams could direct a slasher film like Wes Craven? No, I don't think he could. I don't think he could handle it in the right way. The satire and the horror. I don't think he could do that. But I do think he could sit there and take on something iconic, as iconic as Indiana Jones, and tell a competent enough story. Right? Provided they have a plan to get through the next couple of films, and none of this like pass it off halfway through to some other, you know. Anyway. Let's see. Maybe Star Wars on film just needs to go on hiatus for a while. Well, they are. They're doing, you know, 3 years. I don't know if 7 years is a really good idea, but definitely, yeah, 7 years is a bit too long. I still think if they went and they started looking at Timothy Zahn EU novels, or like tell us like the Battle of Jakku, if you really want to be crazy. Like I was watching Star Wars Explained today. And one of his videos, it was like explaining the Battle of Jakku popped up. And I'm like, all right, cool, man, cool. Like, you know, I watched it. I'm like, oh, that's kind of fucking cool, man. Like the rise of the fall of the Empire, the fall of the Empire, but the rise of almost the First Order was like kind of tied into that Aftermath series. Like that could be something. And that's kind of why I think they want to do this Kylo Ren series, is because they got to sell the First Order. And they do. Let's see here. Hold on. My brother's wife worked for JJ and thought he was a weird and overrated. Well, perhaps. I have respect for the guy. Let's see here. Do I think Indiana Jones 5 actually happens? I do. Yep. I really, really, really do. The sarcasm of the first RoboCop is great. Even Paul could not repeat that sarcasm with the rest of the RoboCop movies. He didn't. He did the first one. Irving Kershner, who directed Empire Strikes Back, actually directed RoboCop 2, and it was written by Frank Miller. It was his very first screenwriting job. I don't know who touched RoboCop 3, but I really feel they should be arrested for molestation. I'm just saying. Let's see. Thoughts on the Kenobi show? Oh, I'm fucking stoked, dude. I'm so stoked for that. I can't wait for that one. I'm really excited to see what they come up with for that. Like, I want to know. I guess it's going to deal with the fallout of Order 66, of Kenobi in hiding. Like, is he going to go up against Inquisitors? Like, is he going to take on Inquisitors? Because what happened to them? You know, in the process of everything. Like, I think that'd be really dope to see Kenobi pop up, take on some Sith. Let's see here. The Battle of Jakku was featured a bit in EA Battlefront 2. No, it's there. It was one of the things that was there. Yeah. Let's see. Hold on. You see the Battle of Jakku during the Battlefront 2 campaign, and yes, it'd make a great set piece in live action. I completely agree. Supposedly, the Mandalorian helps explain the orders of the First Order. Yeah, probably. Because it's 5 years after the fact. And okay, so here's kind of what happened. I'm going to summarize it in the best way I can think of. This is just what I know about it, like what I've seen on that video. Essentially, like, Jakku was the last stand for the Empire. And they had like a Super Star Destroyer being protected by other Star Destroyers. And it was like taking on the Rebel, you know, at this point, well, the Rebel fleet, so to speak. And then one of them like got away, like, you know, it was like Hux and his dad. So the dad is going to be in The Rise of Skywalker. He was the one who helped start the First Order with Sloane. Is that her name? I forget her name. But like, they basically go into the unknown regions and they find another Super Star Destroyer out there that the Emperor had sent out there. And then they start to rebuild the First Order from there. So and that's the canon that they're working with here. So if we think about it for a second, and you have all those Super Star Destroyers that are out in the unknown regions, which is the theory for Rise of Skywalker, that could kind of be where things are. Giving us the origin of the First Order in the movie, I think would be pretty dope. A little bit kind of too little too late in some aspects. I'll fully agree, but otherwise pretty good. Let's see here. Who do I think dies in episode 9? You're leaning on Chewie, Lando, and Kylo. I think Chewie's going to die. I think C-3PO is going to die, but I think Lando's going to die. Okay. Let's see. If episode 9 features the world between worlds and time travel, how would I feel? No. I think time travel, it depends on, like, time travel in the context of Endgame worked because there was the time stone and the quantum realm. So there's stuff like that. You could explain it, right? You could easily explain that shit. However, time travel in Star Wars, I'm not a big fan of. The world between worlds, I'm cool with, because that would be more of like the Wills. And if it was a Lucas directed thing and we had time to explore that thematically, or, you know, whatever, then I think we'd be in a better position. But they got to wrap up a lot in 2.5 hours. They ain't going to give us a world between worlds. Maybe in a feature film though. I mean, they kind of primed the audience with the quantum realm, to be fair. So they kind of did. Let's see, Wachowski brothers. I think they would do great. Star Wars as combined fantasy and sci-fi. Well, it's now the Wachowski sisters. And I don't disagree with you, actually. The Matrix still holds up 20 years later. Let's see. Will the dates that have already been staked out for the next 3 Star Wars movies be taken over by Johnson's movies, or will someone else take over? I think someone else is going to take over. I don't think it's going to be Johnson, but those dates are going to stay. Those dates are going to stay. Let's see. You hope we see Sabine Wren in The Mandalorian and see Black Saber. I would love to see Sabine Wren. I would love to see Sabine pop up, and I think she probably will. Considering that Filoni's involved and Filoni created Rebels, which means he definitely had hands in the creation of Sabine, I would argue we're gonna see something. She's gonna be a lot older, but we're gonna see her. Let's see. Everyone hit that like button. Thank you, Lewis. Thank you. Do I think any characters from the cartoons will appear in The Mandalorian? Yeah. Well, Katie Sackhoff's Mandalorian character, they're gonna do something with it. Like, I mean, it's, how long is it? It's like 19. What, from the Clone Wars to then is like 30 years almost, right? So it's a long time. It's who knows? There would definitely be references. If Filoni is behind it, there will be references. Let's see. It's funny that everyone's talking about new shows and you're just discovering Neon Genesis. Well, man, yeah. I mean, It happens. I enjoy it. I wasn't a big fan, but you have fun, man. You have fun. RT here says, "Don't let Chewie die like Akbar." No, I think JJ has a bit more respect for the characters. A bit more respect for the characters. Here, I just want to quickly kind of like sidetrack something. I was thinking about this. You can kind of see it here. You can't see it there. Anyway, on when Carrie Fisher died, December 2016. We had a whole year to The Last Jedi. And all they had to do to stop a lot of this from happening was just not hit the fade out effect on Luke Skywalker. Just not hit that effect. Just not have him not slide the effect in there. Oh, it's a 1 second transition or a 2 second transition. You leave him on the rock and he's still alive. I don't understand why nobody out there thought to change that one little thing from the end. That 1 2 second decision would have saved so much headache, so much drama. Right? I'm just saying. Let's see here. I've noticed Disney Star Wars doesn't seem to treat alien characters with much respect. I think we're going to get that with Mandalorian. As Nerd Report was saying, they all speak alien languages and they're translated. You get the subtitles, and that's pretty dope. So let's see. I think Chewie, C-3PO, and Lando are all going to die. I think there's going to be some deaths. Brian here says Matrix 4 can be a good story. I hope so. Inhuman Quake here says, I'm a fan of Rebels and Resistance. Dude, me too. I haven't watched Resistance yet this season because I don't have the cable TV package that allows me to get it on Disney XD. So I got to wait to get it some other way. Legitimately. Let's see. C-3PO is toast because George has always said that C-3PO and R2-D2 was in all the episodes. So yeah, he's going to be the source of toasters, probably. Let's see. If Chewie needs to die, then he needs to die saving Kylo Ben's life, turning him back from the dark side. Like how you spelled dark side there. I catch that. I don't know if Chewie would. I think Chewie would just tear his arm off and beat him to death with it, to be fair. And I think that would be entirely acceptable. Let's see here. Alita has thrown me back into the anime world. Well, that's good. Alita's badass. The Hollywood Trades reported that when the trailer today launched, the first episode of Mandalorian is going to reveal huge Star Wars canon-changing spoilers. What could it be? I don't know. I think it's going to be like who is still alive, maybe, or who's still active, or what's going on with that one. Again, I don't know. I think it's crazy. I want to find out. We got a couple more weeks. The thing is, no press gets it early, right? Like Nerd Report, he's a buddy of mine. Got to go check out the 27 minutes that they showed a couple weeks ago, and he's all like, maybe they're going to give me early copies. They ain't going to give no one early shit. So that sucks. Let's see. I feel like Lando should reacquire the Falcon. Yes, I agree. I do agree. I think at the end, the Falcon should not go to Rey. Falcon should go to Lando. And I think he should win it in a game of Sabacc, and he cheats to win it. I think the Falcon deserves to be with Lando. That I do agree with. I 100% agree. Is it confirmed Luke died? It is not confirmed Luke died. It is not confirmed. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to check it. We're still talking about that, so I'll talk about the fandom menace thing here in a second. The fade out effect was the reason why Trevorrow left episode 9. That is the current prevalent rumor, and I don't think we're going to hear about it for quite some time. Killing the Sarlacc monster too, of course, would be a badass opening. Yes, it would be great if the opening of Star Wars is because right now we're dealing with like Schrodinger's Boba Fett, right? Is he alive or is he dead? We have no idea. And even Disney doesn't really tell us. They don't really tell us at all. They're just all like, it's whatever you want it to be. Ooh, it's like mystical magic. It's whatever you want it to be. Fuck off. Give us an answer, we'll answer. Jesus. Don't keep us hanging, Disney. Tell us. What's going on? What's going on? No, but if he comes out, like if the opening shot of The Mandalorian is like the Sarlacc pit on Tatooine, because I think we do get to go to Tatooine in the show too. It's the opening is the Sarlacc pit. And it's Boba Fett's like hand climbing out of the pit, and just like drops a thermal detonator down to the Sarlacc to take it out. Perfect. And then he takes off the helmet and it's Tamara Morrison, right? That would be great. That'd be so cool. Am I going to watch The Last Jedi again before Rise of Skywalker? I'm going to prep. Chewie can't kill Kylo. He still has a life debt to Han and his offspring, including Ben. I think, I don't know. I kind of think if the offspring kills the life debt, it kind of becomes null and void. Let's see. Wikipedia of Mark Hamill says ROS credits post-production only. Yeah, but you can't really trust that because anyone can add to it. Same with IMDb. Anyone can add to it. I don't know about Star Wars, but do you think it's possible Darth Maul to appear in episode 9? No. Darth Maul, he dead. He died in Rebels. Is it crazy 15 more days for Disney Plus? Yeah. Yeah, man. I want to watch see everyone like the Marvel animated series is what I'm down for. Let's see. I keep hoping one of these trilogies is going to be the Dark Forces line. Oh, I want Shadow of the Empire. That's what I want. I want Shadow of the Empire. If they come out and they say, we're going to be doing a Shadow of the Empire movie. That's going to be so good. Let's see here. Will JJ give us a badass Luke moment, or is it wishful thinking? I mean, it depends on what you consider to be badass. The leaks have a moment, and I'm not too sure how I feel about it. Chewie should get the Falcon and no one else. Okay, fine. That too. I'm Joel. You have a point. 100%. Canuck to Canuck. All right, you have a point. Okay. If Johnson didn't have Snoke die, I think there would still be more wiggle room to make him a compelling villain for another film. Well, I think they're going to explain Snoke as being like a proxy of Palpatine or something, or maybe just someone that Palpatine manipulated to put in charge of the First Order, you know. But like, here's the thing: is Snoke is old as shit, and he could use Force lightning. So, I mean, like, he could be the same age roughly as you know. I mean, he could be older. He could be Anakin's age. He could have been one of the younglings. Like, what if you find out that Snoke is Kyle Kestis from the Jedi Fallen Order? Wouldn't that be crazy? But it could be anything. Let's see, which Marvel Disney Plus shows I'm most excited for? For me, it's Falcon Winter Soldier, followed by Moon Knight. WandaVision, I will watch it, because obviously, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know. But yeah, no, Falcon Winter Soldier, I really want to see. She-Hulk should be pretty good too. But really, for me, it's all about Star Wars shows. I'm more hyped for those. Yeah, you want to see Ahsoka? Yeah, a lot of people do, Ian. A lot of people do. When are the new Clone Wars episodes coming? Those are coming February. Those are coming in February. So it gives you time to rewatch the entire series. Can we see Jar Jar in episode 9 outperform Rose? I would love that. I think if they brought up Jar Jar in episode 9, that'd be great. Did I hear the rumors that Solo's Hanging Threads will be continued with the Lando Disney Plus series and Akira Disney Plus series featuring Maul and Crimson Dawn? That would be interesting. But here's the thing with that. Because, okay, and I said earlier, I did a video about Solo and like the writer and calling out the studio and shit. I really like Solo. I think it's a fun movie. I think it's a great movie. I have watched it a lot of times. I have a lot of fun with it. And I want there to be a sequel. But I don't think they could do, I think they need to do a freaking a Han show. I think they need to do a Han Solo series that would be considered Solo 2, bring in Boba Fett, bring in Jabba the Hutt, tell us that story, and then end it with him walking into the Mos Eisley Cantina right before Luke shows up, and like end it right there. Just get right to the end, and I think fans would be more on board with that for what's going on. Let's see here. Watch we see Magneto and WandaVision. Man, that would be something. That would be something. All right. How big do I think Disney Plus will be in the first month? I think the first day is going to be insane with lots of crashes and the service not loading. I think they're prepping for that. They've been doing some tests around the world. I know, like, I think it was Denmark. No, the Netherlands had like a test or something. So they're going to be testing servers and making sure it can handle it. But really, everyone's gunning for the Mandalorian. Like, I mean, what I look forward to, and this is just going to sound kind of crazy, what I look forward to is reading the headline the next morning, right? Where Disney, because Disney's going to release the numbers, right? They're going to say, on the very first day of Disney Plus, 25 million households watched The Mandalorian. Like, you're going to hear that. And I'm telling you, Mandalorian, if it's as good as as it looks like it's going to be, is going to straight up sell tickets to Rise of Skywalker. That show is going to pimp out Rise of Skywalker like crazy. But I also think that the piracy numbers for it are going to be really high too. Let's see. You're waiting for Robot Chicken Star Wars with younglings and lightsabers. Yeah, well, there was what they called Star Detours, which was a Robot Chicken-esque show that was CG animated. It's from the producers of Robot Chicken, or the creators of Robot Chicken. That was all Star Wars shorts that were like all done kind of like Robot Chicken, a bit more adult, and they had made like 36 episodes of it. And there's like 10, 11-minute long, like they're short episodes. So they made like 36 of them. They had scripts written for like 64 more episodes. And then when Disney bought Lucasfilm, they killed the project. But then magically last year, they revived the trademark. They renewed the trademark, and it popped up for like a day, and then like no one said anything about it. So I'm really hoping to like get some more info on that soon. Joel here saying, really like Solo. Word up, dude. Wonder Duck says here, so waiting for that Halo TV show, 2020 Showtime sometime. Let's see here. Given the history of Star Wars, we're going to find out that Rey is Kylo's twin. No, I think we're going to find out that Rey is a clone of Palpatine. That just seems more accurate at this point. Let's see here. I really think we'll see Mutants first on Disney Plus. I agree. Let's see here. I wish to see Detours if they ever come back. Yeah, there's a trailer for it. Looks pretty good. Let's see. My brother used to work at Robot Chicken. He says real hard work. Yeah, man. Fucking stop motion animation. That is some tough stuff. Do I think we'll ever get to see a new Family Guy Star Wars special or the prequels or sequel trilogy? I'm leaning towards no. Well, no. Now that Fox owns or is owned by Disney, yeah, man, I'd say actually it's pretty positive, especially if they start to kind of like loosen the brand a little bit, which is what Lucas is really kind of like. He was really loosening up the brand. He was really lightening things up a bit, and that was great. That was a lot of fun. Like when he started really kind of letting things go is when we got the Star Wars specials from Family Guy. We got the Star Wars specials from Robot Chicken. We got Clone Wars. Got that movie, but we won't talk about that movie. So when he started really kind of like going and just like letting it out there, like letting it breathe and letting some other people take it on, it started to pick up some speed, and people really, really liked it. And then Disney was all like, no, we want it all to ourselves. That's what they did. Let's see. I think Mara Jade is going to show in Rise of Skywalker. Otherwise, Luke died a virgin. I think Luke died a virgin. Or maybe he hooked up with one of those nurses on Octu. Maybe that's how he worked a deal to get that blue milk. He was all like, well, I milk you, you milk me. You know what I mean? God, Last Jedi is terrible. All right, I think Mara Jade will become a canon character, but like Thrawn, it'll be in the books and cartoons only, and she will be dramatically changed, won't be close to the same character in some regards, perhaps. My theory, my speculation, is this. I think that after they shoot, which they're shooting right now, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and that if that ends up being the last we see of them, I think Sebastian Stan will get brought in to play young Luke Skywalker. I've said that for a while now. There's been a lot of fan demand for it because he's about age appropriate to where Luke was post Return of the Jedi, and we could get a potential Luke Skywalker cameo in The Mandalorian. I mean, imagine if they cast Sebastian Stan as Luke Skywalker and they introduce him in like season 3 of The Mandalorian, and it serves as like a backdoor pilot to his own show. Fans would lose their mind. They would lose their mind if we got a Luke show. And if the Kenobi show is actually done quite well and people like the Kenobi show, the 4 episodes that we're going to get, that limited series, Luke's going to get his own thing. Whoa. Pardon me. Let's see. Mad1306 here says, I was disappointed in season 8 of Game of Thrones, so I'm glad they're gone because they rushed through it and would hate for them to rush Star Wars. Well, they wouldn't rush Star Wars because it'd be a whole new creation. I see your point about Game of Thrones season 8. A lot of people didn't like it. I personally did, but I understand that they were under a timetable of their own creation, but I think they just kind of had to set an endpoint, and that was just where they viewed things to be. Let's see. Okay. Any chance the hypothetical box office flop, or any chance in a hypothetical box office flop, will Disney ever fire a mass majority of the story team from Lucasfilm? Well, the story team from Lucasfilm handles more of the outside stuff, so probably not. Will the Rise of Skywalker flop? No. It's just statistically impossible for it to flop. It's just statistically impossible at this point for it to flop. Here's the reason why. One, pre-ticket sales are already pretty high, which doesn't necessarily mean or prove anything, and that I will admit. But as hype for The Mandalorian grows, that is only going to turn into hype for The Rise of Skywalker. 100%. The fact that it comes out, the fact that the season finale of The Mandalorian is the week after The Rise of Skywalker comes out is no mistake. They are doing that on purpose, meaning that the episode, the penultimate episode, which leads into the cliffhanger, which is going to be on the 18th, I think. Let me take a look here. Actually, let's see here. Mandalorian release dates. Okay. So let me find out when the episodes are. Okay. All right. So what we have here is November 12th, November 15th, November 22nd, November 29th, December 6th, December 13th, December 18th, and December 27th. Now, the December 18th is a very fascinating thing because that's on a Wednesday, right? So we have they're doing a very odd release schedule for this because they don't want to get in the way of the Rise of Skywalker, but they're giving you the penultimate episode, what's going to have the biggest cliffhanger for the end of The Mandalorian, what's going to have everyone talking about what's going to go down in the season finale, which I think is the episode where we're going to be able to see the chicken walker, is going to happen the day before Rise of Skywalker goes on sale, or it starts getting shown in theaters. So they're planning this. They're so cross promoting this hype in order to be able to push it towards the right direction. They're going to get people so hyped up that it's going to sit there and go, look, you got Jedi Fallen Order, which is getting already hype from people who've already played it. A lot of Star Wars channels have already gone and played it because they were invited out because they're Star Wars channels and they're influential with Star Wars crowds. So there's that. Then you've got the whole thing with Mandalorian. And then, like I said, the second to last episode is going to come out the day before the Rise of Skywalker drops. You tell me if they don't do something absolutely jaw-dropping on a cliffhanger that makes you just go, I can't wait for the next week, that you're not going to want to go and see the movie the next day? Oh, no. This is real. This is real. There's no chance it's going to flop. They are so expertly wading these waters at this point, and they're baiting you in too, man. They're circling you. They're circling you. They're baiting you in. They're just like, come on, you want to go see it. You want to go see it. You want to go see it. And people are going to start getting hyped. They're going to start getting excited. Whether they get what they want or if it's good or bad, we don't know. But they're pushing it. Let's see here. I really hope Lady and the Tramp does well, so Disney will just make up their mind on live action remakes, go straight to Disney Plus. I don't want to see I don't want to see that, but I agree with your point. But they just made $1 billion off of Aladdin, and they made $1 billion that's Beauty and the Beast, and they made $1 billion off Lion King and Jungle Book. The only movie to really flop was Dumbo because it was terrible. Hold on here. I finally saw Watchmen on HBO. Love Jeremy Irons in the second episode. Yeah, man, that obsession that he has is interesting stuff. I really like the episode. I love Watchmen. I think it's really good. Let's see. Tired of remakes. Yeah, me too. Let's see. Everyone is getting Disney Plus for High School Musical and the musical series, not Star Wars and Marvel. Oh, shush. Do I ever think we're going to get a sequel to Solo? I've talked about it a little bit ago, but just to reiterate, I think we're going to get it on Disney Plus. I think that's going to happen. Curious why Johnson hasn't been fired for his behavior. Well, he hasn't been fired for his behavior because he's just kind of been a jerk. Hasn't really been an all-out dick. So I think there's a difference there. He's been a jerk, but not a huge dick. Do I think theaters will die off like the dodo bird? Gosh, I hope not. The whole streaming trend is making me queasy. Well, they're not going to die off as long as superhero movies are making bank. And people will always justify entertainment, and they want to get out of their house. But certain things are going to keep people in, and a lot of movies are going to start going to streaming, like comedies are going to start going to streaming. I look forward to The Mandalorian more than Rise of Skywalker. A lot of people are, and they're hoping for that, actually. Anyone who's looking more forward to The Mandalorian than Rise of Skywalker, they're hoping to push you towards the Rise of Skywalker. So I somewhat expect that the Rise of the First Order, getting the knowledge about the First Order, there's going to be a couple things in there that tie into the Rise of Skywalker. I guarantee it. Because it would be so stupid to not do it. It would be so stupid to not do that. It really would. November 8th, Disney Channel, ABC Freeform showing. I don't care. I don't care about that. You want to see the creators of The Expanse get a shot at Star Wars? That could be interesting. I haven't seen The Expanse, so I don't know. Will Holdo get the Rian Johnson? No, she's dead. Unless they make it an Admiral Holdo trilogy, which, I mean, could be something, I guess. I don't know. All right, so hold on. Do I think Feige is taking way too much work by taking on another Marvel streaming and now a Star Wars film? That's a question for the ages, isn't it? I'm not even making that up. That is literally the question for the ages. Is it too much for Feige? I don't know, man. I really don't know. We have to wait and see. I mean, so far he's been able to handle it, but you know, he's got teams, he has creatives, he has executives, different divisions, different departments. But now everything's going to be run by him, and I hope it doesn't suffer. But I think he's going to end up taking over. I think he's just going to end up taking over Walt Disney Pictures, and Marvel's is going to be a subsidiary of that, which it already is, but it's going to be like just a direct subdivision of like the high office, and he'll oversee everything. I really do feel that eventually Feige will take over Disney as a corporation. That's the second time a duo of filmmakers have been fired. Why can't Disney get the hint and fire Kathleen Kennedy? Well, they didn't get fired. They didn't get fired. They quit. There's a massive, massive difference there. The idea then comes about the speculation of what happened. Did they get fired or did they quit? They say Netflix's $200 million is the reason. I'm actually inclined to believe that. So there's that. Let's see. Holographic tech is getting better. Holographic movies will revive theaters. Just a good experience will revive theaters, and also cheaper prices. How do you guys, let me ask you guys a question. Press 1 in the chat if you would like to see a sliding scale for ticket prices, right? Opening weekend, premium price. Second weekend, price drops a little. Maybe the first 2 weeks, premium. Third weekend, price starts to drop. After that, it starts dropping. Maybe like it cuts down to like $5 at the end or something like that. How do you feel? Hit 1 if you like that. Disney Plus show on cable. Well, they want to talk people into buying it, so they're going to do cross promotion. Kevin Feige is just on meth to handle so many projects, meth and hookers. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't surprised. That's why he wears a hat. With Benioff and Weiss out, is Kathleen Kennedy finally finished? No, but her legacy is in some serious trouble. It's already been in serious trouble, but bringing on the Game of Thrones guys, that was a big deal. And here's the thing: is they won Emmys for like the last season. They won. I think they won best writing. However you want to take that, they did. So that's something that's how it all looks to them. You know, that's how when Hollywood looks at accolades, that's what they look at. So there's that. You're curious why there hasn't been reviews from cartoon animation reviewers and Star Wars shows. I don't know, man. I don't think they promoted as much. I don't think they promoted as much. I should go. I mean, I was reviewing it for a while, but like not a lot of people seem to care. Let's see. Fuck it. The Grill Cinemas did it for me. Good food while I watch a movie. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, but it's people will justify paying for entertainment as long as the experience is good. People be happy, but they do need to start lowering those prices, which means that studios need to take a cue from Joker and start really kind of slashing these budgets, and then start putting everyone on a points wise. You want Kathleen Kennedy out badly. So do a lot of people. I want her to actually produce something. Like a person who can creatively control Star Wars. So I want her to produce that person. Okay, theory time. It gets revealed that Jar Jar is secretly the Emperor. He played a dimwit, fooled everyone. Credits roll. Lucas giving the bird to the audience. I think that's the video that got Star Wars Theory on the map. That's a good video. Emmy got no choice. I'm just saying. They gave it, man. They did. They really, really, really did. So, okay. I've been on for a little over an hour. Hold on. I gotta... My heat's on. It's fucking warm. Okay. So, why don't we bring in some people? We could bring in some people, have a conversation for a little bit. So it's not just me. But I think, let me, I don't know. How do I want to do this? I'm not too sure. Let's see. You got a subscription service to Regal. It's really good. Yeah. There's no Regals near me, but I have like Cinemark is near me. I have a subscription to them. Will Kennedy ever look back on her legacy on Star Wars with regret or apathy? I think if probably a bit of regret. It's a big thing to manage. She's never managed anything that big before. They should explore doing a low budget Batman film and see what happens. Yeah. I mean, I think Batman 1989 cost like 30 million, but that was 1989 money. So it's insane. All right. You know what? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring in, you may not like it. One of you may not like it, but I'm going to invite in Nerd Report because he's seen the 27 minutes of The Mandalorian. And he can tell us more about what he saw, and compare it. that's something that we can talk about, because otherwise I don't know how much more speculation we can do on DB Weiss and David Benioff, but it's something to consider. Oh yeah, real quick. Well, let's take a look here real quick here, because I was sent this. I was sent the thing. Okay. Let me share screen here. All right, we're gonna open up a Chrome tab. So apparently there is a book. There is a book. The Fandom Menace, Volume 1, A Fandom Betrayed. First in the series of 5 volumes? Five for what? People mad at The Last Jedi? Jeez. Oh my goodness. This is this real? It's raised some money. I see Mecha Random 42 is on the cover. So that's an automatic pass for me, but whatever. Okay, let's go through this here while I wait on Lewis. All right. So, in what could be considered a consumer backlash of truly epic proportions, the Fandom Menace has become a beacon to those who want to pursue escapist entertainments without harassment, assault, coercion, or shame. The rise of the truly toxic fan in community circles has come. The Fandom Menace is the pushback to that toxicity. The selfish, self-serving, antisocial authoritarians want to control what we see, how we see it, how we feel about it, and what we're allowed to say about it. The Fandom Menace has come. They are consumers. They are global. They are Muslim. They are Christian. They are pagan. They are, in some cases, militant anti-theists. They reflect the reality of our world and of our times in a reaction to cancel culture, outrage culture, and social justice mobs roaming unchecked through online cultural landscapes. This is the after effect of a 20-year program of forced political correctness. The community is not political. They want politics out of their entertainment, and they want ideologues who have been given the keys to these vast kingdoms turned out into the wilderness, where such a socially destructive aberrations belong, to the dustbin of history with these fanatics and masked bigots of virtue. We have entered the age of establishment terrorism. He wrote those words with seriousness. Holy shit. All right, let's go on. Oh my God. Establishment terrorism occurs when those in control use the mechanisms of the system itself against its own citizens. Stalinist Russia and Romania during the Cold War are the perfect examples of this ruthless use of power. Veiled and perpetuated under a cloak of legitimacy, these parasites infect and subvert for the express purpose of destruction. This is a fifth column entrenched within the structures that are supposed to protect and serve us all. The Fandom Menace is the mainstream. The Fandom Menace are the voice of real people everywhere. We will not be silenced. We do not negotiate with social terrorists. Hail the Fandom Menace! What the fuck? Oh my goodness gracious me. All right, let's see what the comments here say. Can't wait for the book. Sharon Black really likes the book. Good for her, I guess. My goodness. My goodness. What in the hell is that shit? What is this? Isn't this something I want? No, 5 volumes of that. I mean, 5 volumes. That guy is looking to make 5 volumes of, oh my God. Okay. Like, for one, yeah, there's things within pop culture to call out. I'm not going to deny that. All right. But like, I've tuned in to like some of the people in the Fandom Menace when they talk about stuff. And for one, it becomes so sexist and so bigoted right off the bat. I turn it off. And that stuff doesn't normally bother me. Because I'm like, all right, people are going to say what they're going to say. But like at the same time, it's like, you listen to some of that shit and you're like, oh wow, yeah. Do you believe it? Or are you just saying it because you know it gets you a fucking paycheck? Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, 5 volumes. 5. You could summarize the fandom menace in like literally like a paragraph. People mad at Star Wars. The end. It's about it. That's really about it. Like I give the fandom menace credit for being organized and sticking to their guns for the most part. But there are like so much disinformation that comes out of some of those people that just make it very difficult to have an honest conversation about it. And then the other ones, they know this, but they hide behind the whole idea of like, we're not here to police anyone, man. Whatever. Okay, so let's see. All right. So I see Lewis is here. I'm gonna bring him in.
Oh, I'm on.
Yeah.
What's up, $3 Theater?
Not too much, man.
What'd you drop?
I dropped. It's my control. It's my headphones cables are underneath my chair.
Sweet,
So-
man. Great show today. I was listening off the air. I was
Listening
Wait.
off the air here.
I was listening, waiting for you to hopefully invite me, and my wish was granted.
Only because you've seen Mandalorian. Otherwise, I don't want to talk to you.
Oh yeah, I know.
No, you might be able. Like, so I put a new GIF background on this thing today. You may be able to recognize what it is.
Yeah, that's where Gollum throws the ring off Mount Doom.
Yeah, or something like
Yeah.
that. Something like that. I'm like, I need something like sweet and like also like mean spirited. So let me find the scene from The Last Jedi. It's Luke on the rock. I just needed a GIF, and I found the GIF right. I was like, oh, it's already 10:30. Fuck.
Hey, that's a good drink. Somebody should have added that. Luke on the rocks.
Luke on the rocks. There we go.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's blue milk and cum.
Make sure to copyright that. Have a trademark.
Trademark blue
Luke
milk
on the
and cum.
rocks.
Just squeeze it in. What's the nerdrotic guy's name? That would be Gary. I don't know. Mate, Gary. I think it's Gary.
I think
Anyway.
it's Matt.
Shh. You'll give away my secret.
He's got a good voice, that guy, though.
I'm sorry. What?
He's got a good voice as well.
Yeah, no. He does. He does.
He's got a good,
He's got a good voice.
unlike mine.
No, yours is fine. Okay, so you're I don't want to say you're access me. No, you are.
That's fine. I'm access me,
No,
whatever.
you are because you
Yeah.
went and saw The Mandalorian.
Yeah, I was invited by Disney. VIP.
This guy right here calls me up. No, we're talking on the phone. And he goes like, "Oh my god!" And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Dude, Disney." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "They invited me to The Mandalorian." I'm like, "Shut up." He's like, "No, I'm gonna go see it."
Of course. That's why I started doing this. I want to see Star Wars a few days before anybody else.
Why do you think I'm friends with you? No, no. He's a cool guy. But so he saw The Mandalorian. He saw 27 minutes of it. You saw the new trailer today. And let me ask you this. Do you know what that big spoiler is that's going to be like coming in the first episode? Do you know anything about that?
You know what? No, but I did read those headlines, but I couldn't find what the heck they were talking about. Did you know what they are? Did you read them?
There's something I saw the headline, but I was like, I don't want spoilers in The Mandalorian.
Yeah, I don't remember anything massive.
What the hell? Mary Sue posted an article 2 hours ago saying, I see your hatred of Star Wars Return of the Jedi, and I raise you, you're wrong.
What?
We might have to go through this, actually. I think
You're
we should
talking
go
about the
through
website, Mary Sue?
Yeah, the website Mary Sue. Yeah, it's because, Ray. No, I don't think Ray's a Mary Sue. I've defended that for years now.
Yeah.
But let's see here.
Well, it's another extreme. Sometimes a site has.
They're totes. They're totes.
I give them an A+ for creativity, though, man. The titles are awesome. But this is nothing new. That's Devin Faraci style of posting. If you guys look at that guy, Google him later. He knew how to write his titles.
Yeah, Google him later on and find out why you got fired.
Well, but yeah, that guy had some great titles to egg on people.
Look at this Screen Rant a couple hours ago. Star Wars Trilogy from Game of Thrones creators canceled. I'm like, I had to stop and read that for a second. I'm like, wait, what?
It's a good title.
It's a good title, but it's like, what if I mean people? Yeah, man, people are really talking about this.
It's a shocker, though.
It is a shocker
Well,
because
it's
like
shocker that they announced it the same day the Mandalorian
they
trailer
tried
comes out,
sweeping
right?
it under the rug. It was a sweeping it
Well,
under the rug sort of thing.
no,
They're like,
I would think they would release that news first, and
dude,
then
they dropped it at 8 p.m. They dropped it at 8 p.m.
it's not
Pacific.
going to stop the internet, dude.
Not gonna stop the internet, but all the journalists are already asleep, so it's gonna it's not gonna. That's what they release it this late for a reason. They
It
released
should
it
be
this
Friday
late
night, but they knew about this a long time ago. I'm sorry, I refuse to.
Yeah, why'd they do it on Monday night?
Monday night's the prime time.
They should have done it. They should have done it. Yeah, they should have done it on whatever.
They should have done it after all the. Well, to sweep it out of the rug, under the rug, what you do is you wait till next year, like 3 months in. You know what I mean? When there's no Star Wars, Mandalorian's done. The Rise of Skywalker is already ran its course through the theaters, and then you run it on a Friday night. But
yeah,
I suspected this.
Well, at the same time, though, they had to kind of announce it now because I'm pretty sure they have to start really working on it.
Yeah.
So I mean,
but come on, those guys were on Netflix, and then all of a sudden, you got Kevin Feige doing his movie. So like, where's room for them? So
yeah. So according to the New York Times here, right? Let me mute this site because fucking you goddamn EW. They say here that the first episode of Disney Plus series contains a dramatic Star Wars universe spoiler. Don't know what it is. Don't know what it means. I've seen people kind of take it already and run with it. It's like it's a total canon changing spoiler. Like it doesn't say that at all.
Does anyone mention the spoiler like that? I could go and look.
I'm looking at Entertainment Weekly right now, and they say that it will not be pre-screened before its November 12th premiere in order to protect any surprises and plot twists.
Mm-hmm.
And that's bold. I mean, like, that's really bold in my opinion.
I kind of know what the show's about and everything, the setup, but I'm not going to tell you.
Okay, so since you've seen it, you've seen a lot of it, half of an episode roughly.
Yeah.
What was your favorite thing?
Dude, the look and the way things move. But Star Wars has a special way of doing that. It may sound like nothing. I was doing the trailer reaction today for the last trailer. I don't know if you saw it.
I did.
Those dewback things, and I don't think they're dewbacks, but there was a thing about the original trilogy where the dewbacks were now in the forefront. I don't know if I'm saying this wrong. They weren't in your face, right? They'd have the characters in the front and the dewbacks were way in the back. They were semi-blurry. And a lot of that had to do with the VFX weren't really ready as we have today. Nowadays with the CG, they have everything in the front, right? But the dewbacks, when they were combing the desert or whatever, looking for the droids and on Tatooine, you see the dewbacks in the back, right? Like the mystery, you know how they look, but you could add a little. You kind of don't know how they look, right? You want to go up to them. And the trailer today, if you guys all saw it, you see those creatures in the background, like kind of, and they could have easily put them in the front, but they're in the background, kind of like you see them, but there's still a mystery to them. And that's what I like the most about what I saw. I like the most about what I saw from the footage. There's a mystery. It felt like we're somewhere else. We're in a galaxy that doesn't, it's not part of the rules we know daily.
Yeah.
It's just, you see different aliens and you don't, people don't stare at them cause it's just common. Another thing that stood out as well was the fact that a lot of, you guys may think this is a bit of a spoiler, but it may not. The aliens speak different languages and there's subtitles, I think, on all of it. But the languages in Star Wars, that's a big deal. The languages they come out with, and that's something that's been missing. And I think it's because sometimes they may not feel the audiences would like reading subtitles, but it also takes me away from what the original Star Wars was. So I like the look, the cinematography, the feel, the fact that right now I feel like it's a galaxy far, far away. And you could see that in the trailer. There's also a lot of action. and mystery. So, and the music's real good.
Yeah, the music sound like the music sounds good. But I noticed that was the theme. This is what I noticed about the trailer today was the theme that was in the D23 trailer, that like dun 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 dun,
Yeah.
right, that one, not in this trailer. But what I did hear is the Star Wars theme, the music was there, and it was like so close to like dun 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 dun, dun, right? You could hear it a little bit, like it's teasing it, kind of like in Casino Royale,
Yeah.
when like as the movie progresses, you start hearing the theme song a little bit more,
Mm-hmm.
and then at the end, da 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 da, right? You hear it at the end, and like that was really cool to kind of like show the progression of the character, which I thought was actually like really great. But this time around, it's like I noticed that the music was really different, and I kind of, part of me was a little bit turned off by it. Like, not, I love the music, I want to have the soundtrack, but
Yeah.
I was like watching it and I'm going like, why the fuck isn't that there? Like, where is this? Like it doesn't, I know it didn't really feel right to me. But then again, I've also watched the trailer now a few more times, and so it feels a lot more right because that trailer just looks like dope as shit.
I actually gave it trailer a lot of credit for actually having different music than the one, the main. It seems like what you're talking about is the main theme.
Yeah. Well, no, the main theme's great. The main
And
theme,
another thing I did notice is footage I saw. The I don't know if I touched upon it with you or talked to you about it or if I reacted to it, but the VFX looked kind of like 80% there on par with theatrical.
now you did talk to me about that. You were saying that it looked worse than the CW shows, is how you perceived
No,
it.
I did not.
Yeah, you were saying like
no,
it
dude,
looked.
I'm gonna lose my axis. My
It looked.
axis.
You said that it looked just
No, it
like
happens
the Arrow
perfect.
season 1, which is just terrible CG.
No, it looks
Uh,
perfect. Everything's
it's
lovely.
before King Shark and Flash season 2.
Actually, those are pretty good.
Those are, as well as, yeah, like Gorilla Grodd looked really good too. Anyway,
Gorilla Grodd looked awful, and then like when you saw him again, it was
yeah,
like, dude, that's rad.
kind
Anyways,
of like Gollum in the Fellowship of the Ring, and then
still
you
good
see him
though.
again. We see, no, in Fellowship he looked terrible, but in because you only see his eyes and whatever. But in Return of the King, he looked great. But
So
yeah,
they stepped up the VFX definitely from
well,
what
there's
I.
it's $100 million for 8 episodes.
Yeah,
I mean, like they built the sets. I've seen a lot of behind the scenes stuff on the building of the sets, and they've put. I mean, it's 100. It's a lot of fucking money, man.
yeah.
I mean, even like Game of Thrones, I think final season was like 10 million an episode, right? And like before then, it was like 6 million an episode. They really upped it for CG, especially if you watch, like, I know people out there are gonna be like, Game of Thrones was terrible. Like, watch the Bells. There's like a 45-minute documentary about that episode that's on HBO's YouTube channel, and it is amazing how much work they put in. And I really want that for Mandalorian. Like, if they don't release behind the scenes stuff for Mandalorian, I'm gonna be pissed off. I'm like, oh, well, now you guys are making me buy the 4K because I'm gonna.
There will be definitely a 4K for that. Hopefully, well,
I'm pretty
what
sure
am I
they
saying?
will.
Blu-ray at least.
Well, no,
Uh,
I think they'll do blue. I think they'll go 4K.
Now, one thing I want to warn everyone is also, as I was watching it, I noticed that it did slow down. First, you're like, oh my gosh, it's a Star Wars movie. You know what I mean? You're like, it's a Star Wars movie. That's what it feels like. And it's like, you see all the stuff like emulating Lucas's style and adding its own style and adding new characters and stuff like that. And the plot keeps going. And then it does slow down into television series pace. I don't know if you may understand what I'm talking about. So expect that. It's not going to be like fast and intense through the entire thing. It's going to slow down and talk plot and take its time a little. So that's what I noticed watching it. I was like, my brain immediately went to, oh my God, it's a Star Wars movie. Because it does feel like like you said, $10 million, like a huge Star Wars film. And then it slows down. That's probably going to be the biggest shocker and stuff, right?
Well, and I'm fine with that. I don't have a problem with that. Like,
That's
I think
good.
I think a lot of people out there are like, maybe this is we're gonna have a problem. Like, cause like I just want to use kind of maybe Watchmen as an example. So we're 2 episodes into Watchmen, and there's some action, but there's not a lot of action. And it's more of like it's building up the story, it's building up everything else. And a lot of people have been kind of complaining about that. But it's like slow builds are fine. You know, was that you or me?
Maybe you, maybe
I heard
me. I don't
myself.
know.
I heard myself. I was like, that's odd.
So it's like a haunting.
Yeah, maybe. Let's see here. Inhuman Quakes here says Disney Plus said there would be bonus features added, but not sure for what. Well, I'm hoping. I don't know if the new movies are gonna have the bonus features. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to do that, but I think they do need behind the scenes. I think people like behind the scenes stuff. I do. I like behind the scenes stuff.
I do to a certain extent, but sometimes it takes away from the magic when they tell you exactly how everything's made. You know, like what? This is fake.
How does that take away from the magic? It shows you how it's done, but it doesn't take away from the magic. You can still
Well, like when
disbelief.
they show you that, like I remember watching the puppeteering for Yoda. I was like, dude, I thought it was real.
I'm so sorry. See, but then again, I mean, I did the whole film school thing, so for me, it's like I want to know
No,
more.
it's still cool. With Star Wars, I like it the least because, again, I don't want to see how it's made. I just want to. My mind escapes into the film. That's my
okay.
preference.
That's okay. That's okay, man. That's okay.
Yeah.
So, now, okay. So, for what you did see of the Mandalorian, would you say that there is it very straightforward, very serious, or are there like lighthearted elements? Because
It's Han Solo type of comedy, and
okay,
not Han Solo really, like not.
okay,
But it's like it's not goofy. Does that make
okay.
sense? It's
Yeah,
not
no, I get
slapstick.
that. I get
Maybe
that.
it could do a few slapstick things, but not really.
Okay, okay. So what you're saying essentially is like there's
No fart jokes,
okay,
like in episode 1, which did happen.
and no, there were fart jokes, but that somehow seems more appropriate than the your mama joke from The Last Jedi.
There's no your mama jokes in what I saw.
Okay, that's
No.
good. That's good. Now,
Just
did
daddy
you
jokes.
see Bill Burr at all?
No.
He's the bald guy with the dual blasters.
Yeah, I don't think so, but they did show footage and then they show like a mini trailer, like scenes flashing. He may have been in there, but as far as his character, I don't know what he is.
Okay. I don't know how long he's in it for, but I did hear he was I think he was being interviewed by Conan. And Conan's like, "So you're in the new Star Wars movie or Star Wars show?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then Conan's like, "Don't you hate Star Wars?" He's like, "Yeah. Yeah, I do. I don't get it. I don't like it at all." He's like, "Well, then how'd you get it?" He's like, "Oh, I know John Favreau. We're at a party together, and Favreau walks over and he's like, you want to be in the show?" And he's like, I don't think the brands would really cross there. You know, I don't think I'm the right guy for you. He goes, no. Wouldn't it be really funny to all your fans to see you in a Star Wars show?
So he
hates Star
stated
Wars.
he doesn't like it, huh?
He's been very adamant about not liking Star Wars, and he's like, he's doing it because it's more of a funny joke to his fans. And I'm like, you know what? I can respect that. I can respect Bill Burr popping up on that one.
If you think half these actors are into what they're in, the movies they're into, like the fans know more about these films more than like the actual. I don't want to say creator, but a lot of the actors, they don't know the stuff. Samuel L. Jackson never saw a Star Wars movie.
No,
he didn't. He said he did. He said he wanted to be this and that, but he didn't. That's fine. He did it. He did his job, and I respect that. I bet you Harrison Ford doesn't even know much about Star Wars at all. But he shows up.
He knows more now. I guarantee he knows more now.
But he showed up to work for The Force Awakens, and I think he was very animate. He did a great job.
Oh yeah, no, I don't get the hate for Force Awakens. I know it's not perfect. I have no problem going back to that movie time and time and time again. It's just like Solo. I have no problem jumping back into Solo. I really like it. So real quick here, Joshua, who got here late, and he's been frequent hangout on the stream. He says here, can you recap DB Weiss and David Benioff and your thoughts on what will happen in the future? So the quick recap that one. They out. They done. According to them, and this is where it gets interesting. According to them, they say it's the Netflix deal. Now, the Netflix deal was just announced a little bit ago to the tune of about $200 million for a 5-year deal. And they're basically saying, like, we can't juggle both. So we're going to go with more money, which makes sense. And I have to ask the kind of question, is this Netflix poaching them away because they are now kind of currently fighting Disney? They are. They're not advertising on Disney properties anymore. They're not advertising with Disney. Bob Iger came out and said that was entirely their choice. because it made it seem like Disney blocked them, but really they decided to pull out. And it kind of feels like they want to take a little bit away from Star Wars to hurt Disney, perhaps. And who knows, it could happen. But also, Game of Thrones season 8, fans weren't necessarily the happiest with it. So that could be a factor. But, you know, Lewis here, Game of Thrones, they won an Emmy. They won a couple Emmys for that season.
Yeah.
So that, and you know how Hollywood works. Hollywood doesn't care about fan reception. It's something like that. They care about the awards.
And money.
And money. Well, and money. And there was a lot of money made.
First.
There's a lot of money made with the Game of Thrones. A lot of goddamn money. And so that's kind of where I think things are at right now. But the real question here, which you have to really ask yourself, are we going to get a Rian Johnson trilogy?
No.
I don't want that. As I said earlier, I have a whole big video on it, big section of this. I think it's like a 19-minute section that I'll be clipping out and uploading for tomorrow morning.
Unless there's another scenario that no one's listening to me and that I think may have some truth in it. Want me to repeat what that was?
No.
To refresh your memory? No.
No, yeah, go ahead. Fuck Jesus, dude.
Maybe there was something in the production of The Last Jedi with the unfortunate passing of Carrie Fisher that caused them to do some sort of reshoots that Rian Johnson did with the casino and stuff that didn't make sense. Because I do feel Carrie Fisher was going to be the Jedi to bring balance to everything. And maybe Rian Johnson took the bullet for that. And no one's going to tell you. Maybe he is better than that. And maybe we see Knives Out and we're like, oh my gosh. The only thing that's unacceptable is if in fact, because I haven't really looked for this, he called people names like people claim. That's unacceptable. I don't care if the movie was good. For me, it's like, dude, you're done. You could have directed The Empire Strikes Back. I don't want to watch it. Just me personally, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, he's just been like a real big dick on Twitter.
Yeah.
What was really funny was one day he was talking about Gamergate. Mm-hmm. And I know a thing or two about that. For those of you guys who don't know, 5 years ago I kind of got my big break or whatever because of Gamergate. And stuff.
I want to get my break.
Yeah, well, you have way more access to like Star Wars and shit than I do. So but no, what happened was Rian Johnson was like talking about Gamergate or whatever, and I responded to him on Twitter. I said, hey, if you ever want me to explain to you what Gamergate really was about,
mm-hmm.
which is not about misogyny or sexism, it was really a consumer revolt, kind of like the Fandom Menace, just in some aspects way more and way less toxic depending on who you talk to. It's not about that. And then Anita Sarkeesian, who's this online feminist film critic or game critic who does not like me. She took a snapshot of that and she was like, she went off on Twitter about it. It was really, really funny, but there's a reason why. Her and Rian Johnson are like this. Her and Joss Whedon are like this. She wants that in, and she doesn't want that narrative challenged. She doesn't want that echo chamber challenged. So that's one of the things. Rian Johnson, like I've heard, there was that anonymous thing that came out where that guy was like, oh, he was one of Devin Faraci's guys. He was one of Devin Faraci's crew, and they were all douches. But like Devin Faraci says that he's a male feminist, and they were saying all this stuff and apparently being jerks and stuff. So I mean, it kind of goes hand in hand a little bit with like the where things are. But yeah, Ryan, I just thought that was really funny that she was all mad about that. He never responded to me. I don't think he ever will. I'm pretty sure if I ever saw him at a convention or something, he would just go like, "Fuck you, buddy."
I'm not familiar with Anita, but I heard she could probably direct a really good Star Wars movie. It's a rumor out there. Isn't she doing one of the Mandalorian episodes?
No, that's Bryce Dallas Howard. Although, do we really want to give a Howard another shot
she's
behind
awesome,
the camera?
Man. She's awesome.
No, she's great, but does she direct? Has she directed before?
Well, guidance. Let's give her a guidance thing. Filoni hasn't directed a live action.
Yeah, but he's done a lot of animation. Animation does take a lot of prep work. So
yeah, so I think this is after this he'll go ahead and make a few live action movies, like you want.
Let's see here. Hold on. Let's see here. If there was a choice of being are being forced to pick either Benioff and DB, Weiss, or Johnson, who would I pick? Oh, straight up DB and Dan and Dave, man. 100% Dan and Dave.
I see we have Jeffrey in the chat too. What's up, Jeffrey? Hollywood Purgatory.
Oh, that's Jeffrey. Nice. What's up, dude? Let's see here. Kevin Feige, Old Republic trilogy. I do think that's on the horizon sometime. I think now maybe they might jump to that if they really want to like get out of the like Skywalker stuff and go back to the Jedi versus Sith from the Old Republic. That'd be great. Let's see here. This is interesting. What if Disney allows George Lucas to do his planned treatment for episode 10, 11, and 12?
I think it's going to be bad.
Yeah. I don't think people want to see the wills. I'll be honest with you. Like the Force is an interesting thing, but the mystery of the Force is more interesting, right? The mystery of why it exists is more interesting. And I think you have to approach it kind of how you would like religion, where it's like, you can't really explain religion, but it's there for people, certain people, they believe it and then whatever. And I think going into like the microbiology of the Force, of what the midichlorians are, it's cool in theory, but I don't know if it would necessarily do well.
I'm shocked a lot of people want Rey to be related to someone. I don't get that. I kind of like the idea that she's a nobody.
I mean, I told you the Popcast guys theory, right?
Refresh my memory.
Okay, so Popcast, it's like the Popcast here on YouTube. Great guys, are friends of mine. They did a video where they broke down the idea based upon canon that is current canon as well as old canon from the Legends with the Dark Empire comic, that essentially Rey is a clone of Palpatine, which is kind of what some of the leaks have essentially alluded to. Again, we don't know yet. We have no idea if that's what it is. But that's kind of, I guess, an angle, an idea. But their theory essentially is that Palpatine had a bunch of clones made of him and Vader. So it's like mixing their DNA, right? To make the perfect Force user that Palpatine could then, basically control, put his life essence into. A lot of it dealt with life essence, like the whole changing of the bodies and everything else. And the big theory is that Palpatine, when Vader was killing him or was going to throw him into the pit of the Death Star, that he transferred his life essence into Vader's helmet. And it's an interesting theory. And then when Luke burned it burned the helmet, but it didn't destroy the helmet. And then he took the helmet, and then Kylo found it, and the Emperor, because keep in mind, the Sith throughout like all of the history of Star Wars, they can do some seriously ill shit. They can they go into talismans and other things, and they live for thousands of years, right? So if he's inside of the helmet, biding his time for the right Force user to manipulate, here comes Kylo, and he already senses the confusion, anger, and darkness in him, and ends up tweaking him. At the same time, Snoke is working on him to end up becoming Kylo Ren. And that's kind of how that whole thing happened. But ultimately, they also, before the Emperor died, he had all these clones that were made of him. And one of them was underneath Jakku, which we know from the Chuck Wendig Aftermath novels that the Battle of Jakku was really to get to the Emperor's observatory on the planet. And they end up taking that thing out. And it's possible that inside of that there was a clone child had been woken up out of stasis, and that's Rey. And Rey was discovered by two junkers who were junking it after everything, found her, and then traded her Unkar plot for some cash. So that then Rey, who's got, the Force in her, is able to then be light side Rey because she's not doesn't have her life essence, put into her by the Emperor, right? And then Dark Rey that we saw in the trailer, that ain't a Force vision. That's real. And that's who we see on the Emperor's throne. It's not the Emperor, it's Dark Rey, because he was able to get his hands on another clone and then put his life essence into her. some crazy shit, dude. It's like a 28-minute long video. I'm not,
dude. It's gonna take 6 hours.
it's pretty. It's like dude. I'm fucking telling you. It's like I was listening to it, and I was like,
Well, there is
DMing them.
it is weird that they don't show you the Emperor. We know he's there.
We know he was on set. We know he was on set, right?
That could be voiceover work. It could be a trick. It could be a misdirect.
Let's see here. Hold on. Mammon from the Darth Vader comic series was a Sith Lord from 1,000 years in the past, where his soul possessed his mask, and that was how he survived the events of Revenge of the Sith. So yeah, that's another thing too, is the mask that Vader made, that Palpatine made for Vader, was done using Sith alchemy, is what some of the canon says. And so it's one of those things where it's like, this idea is cool. I really think it's cool. I don't know how true it is. I don't know if it's if it uses their canon to establish this particular timeline of events. But
well, I'm curious to see how Kylo Ren has Vader's helmet.
Well, he would have taken it out of the temple when they destroyed the temple. He would have taken it with him. When they when he.
But why did Luke burn it, if not to like get rid of the evidence that Luke suit was around? The burning doesn't make sense.
I mean, at the end of Return of the Jedi, when he burned.
Yeah, it should have been like, I thought he was just doing it to disintegrate it so people wouldn't find the remains and like disrespect it.
Well, I thought it was more of a out of respect sort of thing. It's like a funeral pyre is kind of an old tradition.
So they leave it half burnt.
Well, I mean, not everything burns. I mean, look at the T-1000 or T-800. It's it's skin over a metal endoskeleton, right?
Yeah,
but saying it's like
so Luke picked it up and put it somewhere else.
Yeah, basically. Okay, so Jeremy here says it was a Jedi funeral. Jeffrey. Sorry, a lot of J names. Vader's helmet wasn't in the temple. I don't know where it was. I'm speculating. I don't know all this shit.
Bring them on, man.
I'm not gonna bring them on. I don't want to be here till 4 a.m. All right. Good night, Inhuman. Thanks for coming in, man. Really appreciate it. Let's see here. I'm just saying, it's like there's a lot there that they could do. I don't know if they're going to go that deep with it. They're probably not going to go that deep with it because
it'll confuse the audience way too much.
It wouldn't really confuse the audience that much. If you think about it, if you really think about it, where exactly did The Last Jedi move the needle forward on any of the story? It didn't. It just didn't.
Ryan Johnson's watching me, dude. I can't say anything on Maxis Media.
Good. Telling me sucks. No, it's.
Hold on, let me call him.
Yeah, go. Hello? Yeah. Call
Ryan.
him.
Wait, hold on. How do you do this?
So, let's see here. Jay says on the regards to Dan and Dave, the fans definitely made them leave after Game of Thrones backlash. Why would you come to this toxic fan base? I have more love and respect for JJ, even willing to come back for 9. I don't know if the fans necessarily made Dan and Dave take off. I really think it was Netflix and the promise of a lot of money. But JJ came back into the fold. I think it's a favor, really. I think this is a favor to do it. He's like, yeah, I'll do it. And then he's, he got a $500 million deal out of it. I mean, really, if you think about it.
Could I say something about J.J. Abrams too?
Sure.
I think a lot of people started, like, especially here on YouTube, of course, but they started turning against J.J. Abrams, who I really like. But when his comments were taken, out of context, when they asked him about that edit where they removed all the women. So the question was, what do you think of that edit where they removed all the women out of The Last Jedi? His answer was, anyone who removes all the women, are, what's it called? Scared of women, or sexist or whatever. And if you posed a question like that, I agree. You remove every woman. That includes Princess Leia, or General Leia. He was talking about that. He was talking about the edit. I know somebody's going to say, oh no, but yes, he was asked about the edit that deletes all the women. It's the unwomen version of it. Yes.
What's it called? Like the fandom edit or something?
Yeah, but they just specifically said womenless edit. So if you ask me that question, it's like, yeah. And if they say, hey, we have an edit where we took all the guys out, I'll say that's sexist too, because it's stupid.
Well, I
But
mean, like I laughed at the concept of the edit. I really did, because I thought that
yeah,
it was so ridiculous because it cuts it down to like 40 minutes or something.
yeah.
And it's just one of those things where it's like someone's really bored on the internet,
And that's not J.J. Abrams saying, "Oh, if you didn't like the Last Jedi, you're sexist." It's because he was asked about that particular edit. Now, if you want to say The Force Awakens was too much of a repeat, or you have, whatever, then you kind of have a point. But that's when people started getting on JJ's case.
Well, I mean, I think they were always. Well, I think there's always people that were on his case anyway about the last, or about The Force Awakens and how.
But you know what the difference is, Matt? That people like The Force Awakens a lot. There's stuff in The Last Jedi I can't defend. The Casino Planet, Luke.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
I mean, yeah, there's like, but like when they say The Force Awakens was a repeat of A New Hope, it's like, dude, well, look, you mean it mimics one of the greatest films ever made? Is that a bad thing? No. And, the Death Star thing, it's like, okay, well, the original Star Wars was based on World War II. What was the big weapons in World War II? Were the nuclear bombs. And what is the Death Star really from the original trilogy? It's a nuke. It represents a nuclear bomb.
It's a big ass nuke.
Yeah, it nukes the fridge. It destroys cities, right? But in their version, it's bigger, faster, and more intense. Like Lucas likes it. It destroys planets. Why, fast forward to nowadays, we still use that technology. We still use nuclear weapons in the military, right? Well, we don't use them, but we have them. That Skywalker, what is it called? The new planet? The one from
Starkiller Base.
Starkiller Base is a bigger Death Star. So yeah, that makes sense.
Well, I would say that I agree with you on that. There's a lot of like he pulls from. It's funny you say that about the technology, because that's kind of how I feel they're going to approach all those Star Destroyers having like miniaturized Death Star tech on there.
Why wouldn't they throw that away? Why would they go back?
Yeah, well, because I mean that they I think that's the whole point. Like I think the Emperor couldn't rebuild the Death Star, but he could definitely get a whole bunch of those Star Destroyers and put a big ass cannon on them.
Yeah.
So that's that shot of like the Y-wing going towards the cannon is that was clearly Zori Bliss's Y-wing. But yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty cool to see how they pull that one off. But again, yeah, technology, once it's out there, doesn't really go away. That's why I think the clone theory for Rey works, because it's like, oh well, same concept. It's like they've got all those clones. Camino had the technology. Why wouldn't they spend 20 years still, like they would still be working on the cloning technology? It's like it doesn't degress or regress. It progresses always. So that's kind of how I view it.
Well, the clone army was mentioned in The Force Awakens.
Were they?
Yeah, when Hux does something, they can't find BB-8 or whatever. I think that's the scenario, because it's been a while since I've seen it. And then Kylo Ren comes in there, and Hux tells him, "Oh, we couldn't find the droid or whatever it was," and he goes, "Perhaps we should ask a clone army to do it, since your men suck." There's a quote like, "Yeah, perhaps your men should be replaced by a clone army." He says something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is kind of cool, because it means that the events from the prequel exist.
Well, yeah, I mean, like that's the thing. If they bring out the Dagger of Mortis and that ties into Clone Wars, I mean, that's kind of what the JJ and Chris Terrio, I think, have the biggest thing to do, is like they have to tie in not only the movie, but tie in everything else as well. So Starship Trooper here says, actually, a lot of it goes back to Greek mythology and classical ages and World War II and a few other conflicts. Yeah, so it's a mishmash. I keep looking at the wrong camera. It's a mishmash of things, but it works. It works in the whole concept. What we need is a person, Filoni, who understands what Lucas is going for. And I know Lewis here is like, Filoni is overrated.
No, I'm not saying that. It's just we talk about people who could do Star Wars. Like, if there's only one person, there's several. I wish the studio or whatever, or ILM, or not ILM, Lucasfilm would go out and scout for more talent, give more people opportunity, more fans because I feel like
Well,
at
okay,
first
but let
they're
me
gonna
let me
like-
let me let me push back on this one there all of a sudden. Okay, right? Let me just lay it out for you. Let's think about this, right? So they did. It wasn't just Filoni. Filoni's been handling the animated stuff. When we talk about putting Filoni in general charge here, what we're saying is this dude fundamentally understands Star Wars. Like he should oversee Star Wars. Still be creative, but like be like the Feige of Star Wars. Be able to kind of like guide other people to like the right choice or the right path or whatever, what Lucas would have wanted, sort of thing. But under Kathleen Kennedy, they brought in J.J. Abrams, right? They brought in J.J., who is a fan and did a serviceable job. And then they said, okay, we're going to bring in Gareth Edwards to go and do Rogue One. And that ended up falling apart in the edit. So they brought in Tony Gilroy to fix it. They fired Phil Lord and Chris Miller, brought in Ron Howard. Colin Trevorrow left. They brought back JJ because they had no damn choice. And and now we just lost the Game of Thrones guys. So it kind of, I mean, in most cases, outside of JJ and Ryan Johnson, they've been losing a lot of the talent that they bring in. And now, it's not to say that they can't do Star Wars. I think that they can. But what I look at that and I say is that this is a lack of leadership, a lack of a clear vision, and then also the need for corporate synergy, which is really fucking it up.
Well, I don't. I just think they need to find they need like 10 Filonis, and then maybe
true.
him leading the thing is
well,
fine.
Jeffrey says this. He says Gareth Edwards was a fan. So is true. So was Josh Trank and Colin Trevorrow, which is
They
also
say okay. A lot of people say they're fans, but Ryan Johnson's not a fan of Star Wars. Come on.
No, he's not. He
said that before. He's a fan, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
no, he said. Well, he keeps. I think he like discovered Star Wars. You know, kind of like. I think he got into it like after he got the job, is what I think. I think he got into it after he got the job.
What is going on in the chat?
I know. I should bring Jeffrey in to come talk to you.
That's fine. I'm good
Because
I got
you're not looking at his posts. JJ and Johnson are not fans. JJ is a fan of Star Wars, dude. Like he's a fan of Star Wars. I would very much believe that. Like he's like let me see if I can find it here. All right.
Jon Favreau is probably a fan. That guy I do believe. Like
Favreau is absolutely a fan. Yeah, 100%.
We need more of that. That's where we've been. Okay, so that's been happening now. I want to see more of that.
So on the screen right here,
you had Luke Skywalker about to just disappear right there, man. That's hilarious.
Nice.
Go for it.
So this is my Facebook profile or banner photo, whatever it is, right? This was taken at San Diego Comic-Con, July 2015. I was at a 6,000 person concert put on by JJ at his request in order to give the fans of Comic-Con something special to for Star Wars. That they gave us lightsabers. They brought out Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford, Daisy Ridley, John Boyega, Oscar Isaac. They brought everybody out and they put on this 30-minute long San Diego Symphony John Williams concert. And that was my shot from that. And that was a fantastic, amazing night because not only did they have a great show, but they had a firework display coming out of the bay. And Lewis, you've been down there. You know how the bay is. It blows up. It's great.
Amazing.
Downtown San Diego is awesome. So this is from then. This was a JJ thing. This is what JJ wanted to do. He made this happen for fans who were there. So I don't agree at all that JJ Abrams is not a fan of Star Wars. He is an absolute fan of Star Wars and he cares about the fans. The problem with JJ is that I feel that his storytelling ability in this particular aspect was capped because he had to find a way to make it work and he chose a slightly easier route than I think many people would have expected. But I believe the heart and soul of what he was attempting to do was absolutely on display with that movie because I've been in the same room with him to hear him talk about it and you can feel it when you're there. Just saying.
I agree, man. J.J. Abrams knows how to hype it up. I mean, wasn't his quote from Hall H is like, "We're gonna do a concert, and there's room for all of you." You know, just hyping it up.
Oh yeah,
He knows
that was out of the blue too. It was just like, hey, we're gonna go do this like 6,000 person concert. Come on, everyone, let's go! And like everyone just funneled out. Yeah.
and I don't care if he does fan service or no, trips up the nostalgia or whatever, does all nostalgic stuff because that's what I like that. I like as long as it's too exaggerated. I like that. Check out that super chat, bro.
Yeah,
Awesome.
$2 from the Orville Nation. Good chat. Thank you very much, man. I was funny too talking about Comic-Con. I was thinking about I went to the Orville experience that was there, and I got a whole bunch of footage that I haven't done anything with, but it's sitting on my computer and I need to do something with it. So thank you for reminding me. No, I shot video footage of everything at the Orville activation, whatever it was. I forget what it was called. What's the Orville experience? But yeah, man, fucking can't wait for season. I can't wait for season 3, dog. It's such a good show. Let's see. So, is there any chance they will find a way to bring Luke, Leia, and Harrison in the scene in episode 9, even in flashbacks? I don't know if I want them to bring in Harrison or Leia. I just kind of think they should like acknowledge it and then move on. Like, give us what they got. Like, let's not focus on it as being a major thing.
They have an opportunity though. You know how? I think okay. So a little bit of spoilers. I haven't really read the spoilers or anything, but like from what I'm seeing is happening, something's going to happen to C-3PO where his memories are going to get blanked, I guess, right? I'm not sure. But let's say that's the scenario right there in that droid's taking out his brain. And that's the last time 3PO could remember anything. What if he's like, you see his perspective and he's in a state of weirdness, right? His eyes are red or, that scene. And like, he's not responding to anything in the room. And then Poe comes in and he goes, "What are you doing, 3PO?" And he goes, "I'm seeing my friends for the last time," or whatever. But you see his perspective and you just see a montage of all the things that happened in the past with Han, Luke, and Leia, and Chewie, and 3PO. And some of it's new. Wouldn't that be kind of cool? Maybe.
I mean, in like as a deleted scene, 100%, dude. In the movie, that would flat out just like derail that scene. It would derail that scene, and it would just whatever emotional resonance is there would be cranked up to 11, which would just, I think, not have the appropriate effect. In that moment, you'd be sitting there going like, tears coming down your face. Everyone's got snot. Everything's all freaking out. And then at the end, you end up just dealing with you just end up seeing like all that crazy shit. It just I love the idea. It'd be great to see a flashback. We
got another super chat, brother.
We do, yeah. From Chris Morlock here, $5. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate it. Says, I hope and pray that Mandalorian is a hit and brings us the adult Star Wars we always wanted. Favreau needs to be put in charge. Lewis, you've seen it. I mean, is this the adult Star Wars that fans have been asking for?
Yeah, and that was a concern of mine. But look, I saw 27 minutes. It could go either way. I mean, after it cuts, like Ewoks and Jar Jar could be at a rave underground before the Matrix hits them. I don't know. So anything can happen. And they're not going to show us the worst parts. So anything could go either way. You know what I mean? But it looks really good, and I'm shocked. It's adult. It's adult.
Violent. How violent is it?
Enough, but not
okay.
Enough.
Because that was the thing I saw, like that one trailer that came out of Celebration, where he just wails on a stormtrooper's mask, and breaks the jaw off, breaks the mouthpiece off, just shatters into a million pieces. And then you're watching this
PG-13.
It looks like it's gonna be a PG-13, clearly on the edge of maybe TVMA. But what about when he walked out and did you see that in your reaction where he walked out and the stormtrooper shot a blaster at him and it just reflected off the armor?
Yeah, finally we see what armor does, right?
Well, we finally see what Mandalorian armor does, and I'm also really surprised that a stormtrooper could hit the side of a goddamn barn. You
actually reminding me of something. There's going to be something with that's going to be real cool.
Okay.
And also, do you remember in The Dark Knight when the Joker's telling Gambit his history, that? That's Michael Jai White, and when he goes, I hated my dad or whatever, and then he goes, "Why so serious?" And then he's gonna cut him, but you don't see it. He kind of like holds the mouth,
Yeah.
and then you don't see it, and that's when you go, "Oh, it's PG-13." But that's kind of what we're getting. We're gonna get, but a little cleverer because I felt like that, like the way the Joker was holding Gambit, it was obviously like, "Don't look at the camera because your face is slit." It's a little more clever from what I saw than that.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I get that. PG-13, you can have all this, you can have all the violence, just no swearing. And I don't think they're going to swear, maybe damn or hell or something, but I don't think they're going to say shit. Although, did you notice that like in the Avengers Endgame, there was a lot more swearing than normal, which I thought was great. But okay, so the violence looks like it's going to be there. Did you see anything with the ATST at all?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I have a feeling like, so here's my theory on this one. I kind of brought it up during my whole like 15-20 minute rant about DB and Dan. That the way the release structure of the Mandalorian is going to be, so they're skipping over. They normally release on Friday, so it's going to be Tuesday, Friday, Wednesday, Friday. So on the week that the Rise of Skywalker comes out, they're going to be dropping the penultimate episode, so the second to last episode, the night before you get to go see the Rise of Skywalker. And I have a feeling that whatever's going to happen on that night, whatever's going to be in that episode is going to be massive. And I think it's going to have implications into the Rise of Skywalker. I have a feeling some stuff's going to tie in, and because to me, that's just good marketing. But like, I mean, how do you feel about it?
You're saying there's going to be a cliffhanger the week it comes out. It's going to be the before season finale.
Yeah. So because the season finale is on the 27th, and that's a Friday.
So that's a week that the Rise of Skywalker would have been in theaters, which is perfect because it's going to keep Star Wars momentum.
Well, so instead of competing with its own property, Disney's going to release that episode 7, the day before you can go see the Rise of Skywalker. So
same Fridays. Don't they come out on Fridays?
No, but that's the thing. That episode's coming out on a Wednesday.
Oh.
So it's like, I had to go look that up. I'm like, that's really weird because I was really wondering how they were going to pull it off. And so, it comes out on a Wednesday. And that is, really interesting.
So it sounds like you have something there. Big time.
I think so. I think they're going to drop it the night before. That way they don't compete with their own stuff. People are going to go see Rise of Skywalker. They're going to be hyped off of that. They're going to come home, watch Mandalorian again. Or people are going to get hyped off Mandalorian and go buy tickets to go see the Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, it's definitely something there. If they do it on Wednesday, but everyone's going to be into Star Wars Episode 9. I hope they don't forget about Mandalorian.
No, not at all. Mandalorian's the lead up.
Well, Wednesday. Well, doesn't Wednesday? So let me see. Wednesday. Okay, so the marathons start on Thursday or Wednesday night.
Well, if it's a 27-hour marathon, it'd be like Tuesday.
It's 27 hours?
If they do all 9 movies.
Yeah, Robert has passes to that. Robert Garcia, our buddy.
I as much as I want to do that, I will just sit at home and watch them on Disney Plus.
Yeah. Well, why don't we do probably won't, but why don't we start doing watch parties. Watch
party, do a Star Wars watch party. We could do that.
Like one movie a day leading up to that. Would you guys like that? Press 1, please.
We could do something like that.
I think it'll be fun. Where would you start it? Original.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you go in release order. You don't go in chronological order. You go in release order. You do that. So, and I think like watching, or at least having like discussions where we watch it and then come in and have an hour conversation surrounding it and whatnot. Go back through, because honestly, what I would love is to do something like that, and then to come into it, and then to get people to like watch the original trilogy, which we all love, but then to see how people 20 to 15 years later are going to look at the prequel trilogy and how they're going to react to it. Because I have a feeling people might be looking at the prequel trilogy and maybe not as bad.
I'll give it a shot.
Maybe not as bad. I'm just saying, it's like, I still think that Revenge of the Sith is the best of the prequels. And I think that Attack of the Clones is not as horrible as people want to claim.
Well, why don't we do this? Why don't we do a watch party? I think people want that. Look, they're pressing 1. I've done it twice.
You have done it twice. Yeah.
So
Ron C here says 4. Don't know what that means. But
That's
man,
it.
this isn't Arby's.
Well, four times one.
But no, I really do feel that there's a lot there. Add Rogue One. We could add Rogue One. Yeah, we could add
Let's
Rogue.
do
We could
all
add. Yeah, we could add Rogue One. We could add Solo in that motherfucker. We could
Last
even
Jedi.
we could even do it. I mean, we could. Yeah, that would just be me, like an hour of me ranting and raving about how I'm just so mad at that movie. But you know what we could do?
You may like it.
You know what we
Oh,
could
we
do?
can have 6 people in here.
No, that's way too much. Maybe 4 people would be fine, but 6 people, you're just talking over each other. But what we could do, and
Yeah.
we could do this on the channel with StreamYards, because I fucking love this shit. We could watch the Star Wars Christmas special on here. It's on YouTube. We could just sit here and watch it. We could all watch it together and just talk
but
about
it's
it.
still, is it okay to do that?
It's fine. It's on YouTube. Yeah, you can watch it on YouTube. It's fine. Like, I'm not saying like I wouldn't leave the video up. It wouldn't be like
Right.
up after the fact, or it'd be unpublished. And if it gets claimed, it gets claimed. I don't care.
Well, let's do this, man. I mean, look, we'll do a watch party for A New Hope. Then we'll do holiday special because that came out after.
Well,
And
I
then
think
we'll-
there's got to be more of a special thing. We don't want to throw people off the scent too quick. Let's see here. Hold on real quick. Nigel Chua says Rogue One doesn't get the recognition it deserves. God damn right.
It's a $1 billion movie too.
It is $1 billion, and it doesn't get any kind of recognition for that too. Join that club, man. It's fucking
Well, the
great.
funny part, well, not funny, when they announced that, and then some people were like, nobody wants that. It's like, dude, it's the number. When you take polls, people every time you ask them what's the best Disney Star Wars, they could say Rogue One.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't get it. Look, okay, so Ron right there says 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 6, 7, 8. Huh?
So right now, Kathleen Kennedy is trending on Twitter, and it's about what you think. It's about what you think. Huh?
Why don't you put that up?
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
we'll go
just
through-
hashtag Kathleen Kennedy. Read through.
Well, yeah, we'll just take a look here real quick, because yeah, it's let me see if I can bring this up here. I should be able to do the application. Oh, I can't do Twitter. I have the Twitter app. So
Yeah.
but
So
I'm just saying, more or less people are saying like Kathleen Kennedy, like this is not like this is more bad about Kathleen Kennedy than it is anything else.
I think I don't know what to tell you, man. I think I don't think she deserves all of it, all the blame in a way.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, no, she doesn't. Okay, so let me bring this up here. I'll bring this up. This is the Hollywood Reporter article where they kind of talk a bit about Kathleen Kennedy. Oh,
This is new.
This is from a couple hours ago, but I haven't read this one. Let me see. Okay. Let me just zoom in a bit here. All right. So it says here that landing Benioff and Weiss was considered a boon for Kennedy, who signed the creators to a trilogy back in February 2018 in the wake of a series of high-profile firings, including the June 2017 exit of Phil Lord and Chris Miller from Solo, and the September 2017 dismissal of Colin Trevorrow as director. So yeah, no, that's true. She was not looking good, and so she signed them. And that was actually looked at really favorably at the time. At the time, it was really favorably. Now it says that the exit of Benioff and Weiss comes as Star Wars is at a crossroads. Abrams' Rise of Skywalker will close out the saga, and Lucasfilm will pivot to its focus to small screen with a number of Disney Plus shows. Let's see. Benioff and Weiss are expertise with world building, as evidence on Game of Thrones, was presumed to be something Star Wars could need in the years to come as it charts its future. In April, Kennedy told The Hollywood Reporter that she would soon be sitting down with Benioff, Weiss, and Johnson to plot the franchise's future, saying they are looking at the next saga. Are we looking at the next saga? God damn it. We are not just looking at another trilogy. We're looking at the next 10 years. So what that's, it's what that says to me is that this is not good for her. It's not good for her. It's just not. Like, it's not her fault. Potentially, it's not her fault. Let's be fair here. All right. Like,
It's
Netflix.
not my fault. They told me they fixed it.
No, it's not. No, it's not that. We have to actually be objective here for a second.
Yeah.
So Kennedy, sensing that she had fucked up bad by firing Phil Lord and Chris Miller, by bringing on by the Colin Trevorrow leaving, all that shit. There's a lot of fan resentment, especially following the release or following the release of the Last Jedi. So then 2 months later, she hires Dan and Dave to come on to plot this course to kind of give like a boost, right?
Mhm.
Because it was 2 months later. I forgot it was February 2018, but yeah, it was a boost. So she brought them in, when the hype was high for season 8 of Game of Thrones. Still, everyone's like, oh, they did it, but it's true. Their world building expertise is actually really good. And there's people on Twitter that are saying like, oh, but Dan and Dave, they didn't know shit about TV going into the show. Yeah, but like, they still did well in the first couple seasons. Like they still, like, you can't discredit that part of it. But
This is what have you done for me lately?
yeah, that's what it is. That's all it is.
You're only as good as your last outing, like boxing.
But really, like, it's one of those things where this fucks her so hard, because her one big hire that everybody was cool with were Dan and Dave, and now it's like, oh, but now it's Rian Johnson.
I disagree with that. Because after the last, you were telling me after the last Game of Thrones, I know you liked it. I didn't see it, but there were a lot of people saying, it's not that good.
Well, I'm talking about, like, the year plus before that happened. People were generally on board with it. And I think even after Game of Thrones, I think even the most vocal critics were like, yeah, they still ran out of material.
Until they saw the last season, people were on board of it. Right?
I think at the end of the day, more people than not would be on board with
now. Still,
I think more people would be on board with them doing Star Wars than not. I do.
From what I've seen, no, but you could be right. I'm not.
The internet's not everything, man. I mean, there's, again, you can't go by social media metrics here. Like, I was just as a quick site, like, what was it? Nerdrotic did a video where he's like, oh, Rotten Tomatoes audience scores hates Watchmen. And then he has a screenshot of the Rotten thing, and it's like 1,300 people. That's not a metric. That's not a metric to go by. 1.5 million people watched the episode live. So you're telling me that like 0.01%?
Well, a lot of people on social media, though.
A lot of people on social media liked it, right? I'm saying in that essence, and generally speaking, they would be fine to do Star Wars if it was 3 years down the road. People would forget about Game of Thrones. They'd move on from Game of Thrones. That would be fine, provided it was good. Now they're doing this Netflix shit, whatever the Netflix stuff is, but they're probably getting a lot of extra. Freedom.
There's a conflict of interest there as well, but I kind of see like Kathleen Kennedy's trying to please the fans a little bit. I mean, she greenlit Mandalorian.
I think she was told to greenlight Mandalorian. I don't think that was even an option.
Rogue One TV show.
Rogue One, yeah. I mean, people liked Cassian Andor, and they brought Tony Gilroy in to write and direct, so I think that's gonna be pretty good.
And then they got what's it called? Marvel. Kevin Feige in there.
Well, so I'm not saying that they can't. She doesn't do anything well. I think she's a decent enough producer, and I've talked about that multiple times. But I think the biggest problem here is that there was a lack of organization and leadership, and that was a big factor, and that's still happening. This deal with them falling apart is a big negative for her, because it's just going to showcase that she can't keep anybody. She can't keep anyone in the position to do the job. And that's, so if they run to Rian Johnson to do this next movie, it's gonna fuck.
What if Kevin Feige leaves? That's
that's in there as an Iger edict.
Ouch. I don't know, man. It's tough. Whoever's decision was not to plan this trilogy, that is bad. That's all I'm saying.
Well, and even for this upcoming trilogy, the one that we have already set, that's why they met in May to plot the next 10 years. Like that was the only time she's like, no, we really we want to make sure that we're plotting the next 10 years, that we're plotting all this stuff out there, that we're making it a thing. That's what they want. And they just, man, they fucked that one up.
Oh my God. Well, okay, so Star Wars, love-hate relationship, right? We get the Mandalorian trailer. It looks amazing. A few minutes we're like, yeah, Star Wars, Star Wars. A few minutes later, the news breaks.
I don't have that problem, to be
Uh,
fair. I don't. I mean, like I look at it. I look at it.
now, I mean, okay, so it's a small part of the audience, the internet, right? Twitter. But is the Mandalorian trending or Kathleen Kennedy?
Kathleen Kennedy is trending, and that's not even Dan and Dave, not even Star Wars. Kathleen Kennedy is trending.
Yeah.
Now, granted, she's trending for me, so
She's trending for me as well.
So let me take a look here at the actual trends that are worldwide. I have
Bin Laden is number one.
What? I'm sorry. What?
Bin Laden for me is number one.
Yeah, Ben Laden,
or whatever,
number one, and then
maybe,
the Mandalorian was trending at number 7 an hour ago. So I don't see it up there. So yeah, for me, Kathleen Kennedy is trending, but it's otherwise it's really not. So,
let me see if it's still trending.
But tomorrow, the trades are going to be very fascinating to look at.
Mandalorian's number 9 for me.
Yeah, but tomorrow the trades are going to be very fascinating because there's going to be a lot of speculation. A lot of speculation on that. There's going to be like so many things that are going to happen.
This responsibility of being such a company that pumps out a lot of movies, consistently and stuff. It's something Lucasfilm's not used to. Kathleen Kennedy being, part of Lucasfilm before the Disney deal and stuff. So this stuff is, there's a lot of, they don't know how to handle this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, they don't. And they're learning.
Yeah. It's a shame because it's kind of like, I don't know. It makes them look worse. I mean, they're used to not releasing stuff at all for years and years and years and years. And no one know. They're very secretive. They're used to being very secretive. Now it's like, pump these movies out, go on location. What's going on? Hire this guy,
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff.
There's a lot that's going to be going on tomorrow. We definitely going to find out more, but it's almost 1 a.m. here. I've been on for about 2.5 hours.
If you think Matt,
I've got to go to bed because I have 2 children that I look after in the morning.
I have children too.
You have 1 child, and he's 10,
11.
Okay, I have 2 under the age of 2.
You going live tomorrow?
Tomorrow, right? I don't know. It depends on what news breaks.
Because I think you really like this new format. I think the fans really like this new format.
No, I love the format. I mean, I gotta pay StreamYards the money. So yeah, if you guys like the format, feel free to kick out in super chats because like this shit's like $200 for the year. It's expensive, but it's worth it. I will fully admit, like it's worth it.
I'll say it. People take it for granted. Matt reads everyone's stuff, at least 90% of the stuff. Other places don't read stuff unless you give them a super chat. Consider that. Consider giving $1. He's got his Patreon there. He's doing it because he loves the movies. That's why we mostly, that's why we do it. We love movies and stuff like that. Matt reads. Matt goes ahead and reads the comments, and other places don't, unless you kick them down with a super chat. So hook it up, man. So he could pay for this nice little format right here.
Yes, yeah. I approve this message.
I think.
I don't know. I don't like asking anything. I think that's all weird. But I appreciate the plug. I just have me personally. I was getting kind of weirded out by that shit. Like everyone always says, no, at the end of the video, like plug Patreon, and I'm like, I feel so weird. But no, I'll probably be on. Can
I say something real quick?
Sure.
I see people in my neighborhood give money to people on the side of the freeway. And I'll say it right now. I hate that because I see the guys on the side of the freeway take that money and buy lottery tickets or alcohol. 90% of the time.
I did just want to pop this one up.
$5, $6. You can't hook up.
I just thought this was funny from Wonder Duck. It's true. John Campio only responds to super chats. I'll tell you guys this quick anecdote and then I'm going to end it. It's all good. We're gonna move.
So
we're gonna move over to another channel. I'm for doing these streams so it doesn't fuck up my YouTube channel here, because long it's true. Long live streams will fuck up your channel. It's very true.
makes no
Um,
sense.
it's all watch time algorithm stuff. But anyway, I'm at Comic-Con. I'm talking with John Campia. I'm waiting to talk to John Campia. He's talking to somebody else, and this guy asks him a question, and he answers it. I forget what the question was, and the guy's like, "Oh, but I have a follow-up question." And he's like, then that guy goes, "Hold on." He's like, Never mind. I'll just super chat it to you." And you could see John's face, and he just goes, "No, no, 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 no. Email it to me. I'll answer it." Like John does seem like a genuine dude. He's Canadian. He can't really help it. But just the fact that he's trained that audience, that like, there's a dude in here. He might even be in here. He's been around for a while. His name's Nathan. Good guy. I will go over to Campy to see what he's going to talk about when he posts like the live stream, like the scheduling it. And like one of the very first super chats is Nathan all the time. And it's just, that's great. He loves doing it. That's awesome. It's fantastic. I just think it's really funny that it's like, that's how he's got the audience trained. To me, that's so weird. I like just the communication. I love bringing up the shit. Like there's a question here real quick. I did actually want to talk about real fast because let's see here. Hold on. Vince Bachelor. I don't know if he's still here or not. A few minutes ago, he said, imagine a 10-year Star Wars plan with Feige. That'd be great. 10-year plan. I think he would plot it out and make it work.
Is that a $10 super chat just came in?
Is it?
I think I'm gonna go live if you're not.
Oh shit. Hey, thank you so much, Nigel. I really appreciate it. $10 from Nigel. Here you go. Smiley face. All right. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. That's fantastic. Awesome. I really do feel that you have a lot that could happen with Feige in 10 years. I mean, just imagine, like, because I've said this before. God damn, I should go to bed. But like, fuck, we're talking about this. That might be double.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. I thank you again. We'll leave it up.
Should I do the dance?
Yeah, do the dance. Yeah. This is how I pay him. He's gonna floss.
I'll do this on my channel too. Could you play that dance? Your dance?
I can't do my dance. I don't remember how that dance went. I was really drunk when I did that dance. Yeah. Anyway, what was I gonna say was the Feige thing. I think Feige is gonna dive into the expanded universe, and I think he's gonna pull from that if he does take over. Because I mean, the rumors are all saying he's gonna take over. I think everyone's anticipating it at this point. But if he dives into the expanded universe and he really does start pulling out some of those stories, imagine just like the arcs they could tell.
Well, at first I thought, man, the guy's going to have too much on his plate. But then I started thinking about, and I'm not trying to show off, but the times I've met him and talked to him, the guy does not, he's so cool. Like he doesn't break under pressure. And this was like, I'm talking to him in the middle of the premiere for Endgame and Infinity War. And he's so cool. He takes the time to talk to you and just his attitude, his aura. Like I could tell. I think he could handle it. I think he can handle Star Wars and the MCU. Or at the very least, get the right people involved.
Yeah. I think that's what he's good at. I think he knows how to put the right people in the right place. And I think I will say though, like, he knows how to homogenize really well, which could work for Star Wars in some aspects, but maybe not entirely. Like with Marvel, it makes sense because all the stories are all part of the same universe for them, in comics for the most part. And creating that continuity is one thing. So you want to have it look the same. Like Ryan Coogler I feel like he got kind of restricted, right? A little bit. And to follow the format that Feige had set, but the movie went on to go and get nominated for best picture. So they might loosen it up a little bit as time goes on.
Yeah.
I think if he tackled Star Wars, a 10-year plan, I think that'd be great. I do. I really do. I don't want to put too much pressure on Feige, but I think we do. I think a lot of us put a lot of pressure on Feige. but he's consistently now for 11 years has proved himself.
Yeah, but you don't want to break that horse either.
No, you don't. You don't want to break that horse. You want to make sure that very much the horse ends up getting not beat to a pulp. But you know, he clearly has also signed off on this. So he's clearly thinks he can do it.
You know, I don't know if I've ever told you this, but what I've always wished, this is kind of a little bit off the subject. This is how big of a Star Wars fan I am. I really wish, and if it was guaranteed, but you know, you can't guarantee a good movie, right? That George Lucas would have directed just one more Star Wars and not go out the way he did, you know, with, because, okay, a lot of people like Revenge of the Sith, but a lot of people don't. I mean, I would have loved for George to just prove everyone that said, oh, well, the best Star Wars movie wasn't directed by you or whatever. I just wish he'd go out with just, you know, that epic Muhammad Ali, George Foreman fight, you know, like just go out as a champ. What do you think of that?
This is going to probably get me a little bit of shit, but I don't think Lucas is that good of a director. Lucas is, New Hope was good, but it's also very simple.
Yeah.
It's a very simple movie, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not criticizing it for that. I love that movie. I love the technical stuff, but you and I've talked about this. It wasn't just Lucas. It was his ex-wife.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot of other collaborators, you know, that went into that process. And I think Lucas
could be said for other things though as well.
Huh?
The same could be said for other things. MCU, it's not just one person.
It's not just but it's like the quality drop hasn't really hit the MCU. So, you know, and again, he puts the right people in the right job. The Russo brothers, I didn't think the Russo brothers would be able to deliver on Captain America because I'd only seen them do You, Me, and Dupree, and then a couple episodes of Community, which I liked. But then they bring out Winter Soldier, and Winter Soldier blew me away for how good it was. And then Civil War was like, fuck me, that thing's amazing.
And you're probably right. George isn't as good of a director, but
producer, he's great. He's a fantastic producer.
Yeah, but at the same time, see, I want him as the creator of this fantasy, this thing that's, man, that's like the only thing I'm interested in. You know, when my room has a bunch of Star Wars stuff, I want him to prove you wrong. I
want him to prove all of us wrong, but
yeah,
he took so long in between everything that he just ended up really kind of having himself a rough time. And I think that it just, I don't think he's got it in him anymore to deliver. I mean, even as a producer, you know, look at Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. It was kind of all over the place. And again, not a lot of people like that. And Spielberg took a lot of heat for that. But Spielberg's defense was, well, I was making a movie for my buddy. I was making a movie for my friend. That was it.
Did he actually say that?
He did say that. He's like, I made my friend's movie. I made George's movie. That's what he said. And that's a nice deflection without criticizing the movie. You know,
that's always going to be following him. And I want, like, as a Star Wars fan, as the guy who had the idea for this, I just wish he went out like, kind of like where that gets countered, where everybody's like, yeah, but look at the last film he made, the last Star Wars he made. Instead we're going to remember him as what is it? The
Howard the Duck,
Tuskegee Airman movie.
Oh, Red Tails.
Red Tail.
I was saying Howard the Duck. I'm like, dude, I fucking love that movie. So,
but yeah, and Revenge of the Sith is debatable whether or not it was a good film. I know a lot of people like it, but I was kind of
a good movie. It's a good movie. It's a good
all
movie.
Right, fine. But
so was Attack of the Clones.
I wanted to see better. I wanted everyone to shut up.
Yeah, I want I want Lucas to like fucking come back, kick everyone in the dick.
Yeah.
You know, and just like dust off that beard, knock out the Cheeto dust, and come back and just go, I'm back, motherfucker. And then make some shit again. I'd love to see that. But what he needs is to not be surrounded by yes men. And that's what he had for so many years. For decades. He had yes men that just surrounded him with like, oh yes, George, you're amazing, George. You can't do anything wrong.
They want to get paid.
Yeah, they want to get paid, obviously. I get that.
Like that's why I call every time I'm on your show, I'm like, dude, you're the best. Because you kicked me down with a couple bucks.
think I owe you money actually.
Yeah, you do.
I don't remember for what, but I'm probably owe you for something or another. I don't know, but no, I just think at this point it'd be very interesting to see where I'd love to see him come back and do something. I'd love to see him like, I'd love to see him over like, get brought into the pitch meetings for like Indiana Jones and like, here's my idea for it. Cause I think like, I love the dude as a creative. As a creative, I love the guy and I want to see him still do that. But it's like, he's in his 70s now, I believe, right? I think let me look how old he is.
Well, the thing is, I would think like if I took over Lucasfilm, like if I was Disney, wouldn't they be raiding like the archives and stuff like that and using all those old ideas?
No, when they took over that, they got rid of it because they wanted to create their own.
There must have been some stuff though from that era.
That's what they turned it into the Legends. They took the EU and they turned it into Star Wars Legends, so they could still repackage it and resell it and do all that other shit.
Yeah.
Without it applying to the new canon. And they wanted to just get rid of it. That's what they did with it. By the way, Lucas is 75 years old. So, weird to think that that's the case.
Yeah. He's got good doctors though.
Yeah. Well, yeah. When you're worth $5.9 billion, they're going to inject the blood of infants into you to keep you around for a lot longer. I think that's what we know is going to be happening. But anyway, 2 hours and 35 minutes. My voice is almost gone. I'm gonna go to bed. So I get up early, take care of myself.
I think I'm gonna go live.
You should go live. Everyone head over to Nerd Report on YouTube, youtube.com/Nerd Report. Lewis here is gonna go live and talk to you about all the things he gets to do in LA that none of you get to do because he
I'm not gonna do that.
No, but there were I'm just saying, look, let me just say that I love George Lucas. I love what he created. I want him to still be kicking and doing creating stuff. But I also feel like he's just gotten bitter over Star Wars. And the last thing we need is someone who's bitter over their own creation to come in to try to do something with it.
Well, there's a saying in boxing. It's my sport. I love boxing. Back in the day, I used to watch it more. That great champs that become old always have one great fight in them. And I wish George would have gone out with one great fight, just like blown away everybody,
Yeah.
But
no, I agree. I agree. I absolutely agree. But all right, guys. Well, hey, I will be definitely back, and we'll do this. We'll do this again soon. Yeah, it's 4 a.m. on the East Coast. It's 1 a.m. here in the West Coast.
And somewhere the sun's rising, so we should just start.
Well, no, shut up. Again, 2.5 hours has flown by. Thank you guys so much for a great conversation. Thank you again to Lewis for coming in. I really appreciate it. And of course, I do want to find a way to open this up to get more of you guys in on the call, because a lot of you out there really seem to enjoy the conversation. For those of you who are not in my Discord, let me send off an invite real quick because you guys can join that up and then we can talk about the other things that are going to be happening. So let me just...
Good crowd today.
Yeah. Okay,
very good crowd.
So here's my Discord link if you guys want to join up. I think we have a quick verification room. Mods are generally awake. And you guys can come on in and join in the conversation and let me know, and we'll figure this out from here. Anyway, I'm going to bed. Thank you guys again so much. Have yourself a great night. May the Force always be with you. And remember that we're all in this together, so be cool with one another. Wild Stallions. Bye.
Dope.